and the cymbal was vibrating so quickly, it sliced into his finger.
Oh!
Yeah, it's his thumb.
And so, like, yeah, or his thumb. And so, like, we keep playing, and then, like, after the next song, he's like, hey, I'm bleeding. And we look over, and there's just, like, blood splattered all over his drum set. His snare is covered. His cymbals are, like, have, like, specks on it, and his toms are just covered, and we're like, what the
We're growing old. Lay me down in silk and gold. Story time. Seconds late to say the line. Kiss me and cry. Don't say
The Halloween house party is forever ingrained in our heads because this was the house party that we got shut down by the cops.
Mm-hmm.
So they invited us to play. We were playing, and like 2 songs in or 3 songs in, this was when Brendan was still drumming, so Colin wasn't on board yet. But Brendan went to go catch a cymbal while he was playing drums, and the cymbal was vibrating so quickly, it sliced into his finger.
Oh!
Yeah, it's his thumb.
And so, like, yeah, or his thumb. And so, like, we keep playing, and then, like, after the next song, he's like, hey, I'm bleeding. And we look over, and there's just, like, blood splattered all over his drum set. His snare is covered. His cymbals are, like, have, like, specks on it, and his toms are just covered, and we're like, what the
He was very drunk, too. So
Yeah.
like, I didn't really feel it.
Yeah,
We were just
and then like we like take like a 5-minute break, he cleans it up, and then we keep playing, and then like a couple songs after.
That adds character. It
Yeah,
adds
I
tone.
took pictures.
It's Halloween!
He cleaned it up a little bit. And then,
Come
and then
on!
like, we played like a
Problem.
few more songs. We played like a few more songs, and the cops came. Like, you got.
Oh, like I said, he lost too much
So
blood.
they come
Yeah.
and tell us to stop, and then we're like, okay, they just told us to stop it, and then the crowd was like, keep going, keep going. And we're like, all right, let's go. And we start trying to play another song, and the hosts come running from the front door, and they're like, stop! The cops are still outside the front door. So we're like, okay, we better stop.
Yeah.
And so they like go finish their deal, and they come back and they start kicking everyone out. And they're just yelling at the top of their lungs, "If you don't live here, you gotta get out!" And then they turn to us and they're like, "Oh, you're cool though. You like
Yeah,
we want
just
you to
stay.
keep hanging out. Just stay. Like let everyone leave. You can hang out with us."
See, that's the college experience we
Clear
never
it out,
had.
baby.
It wasn't even college. It was after.
No, that.
I know, but like that.
I was still in college.
I
at the
wasn't
time.
in college, but yeah.
Yeah, I was so close.
That's like crazy, you know what I mean? That's like, that's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need.
All of our Halloween parties were just a whole bunch of junk.
I was always a hot dog.
He was a glizzy.
Yeah.
Hot quiz.
Ooh, my question was next for you.
Oh, okay, let's save it. I'll be back.
Yeah, that one was like the Boulder one was interesting. They were off, but the audience really dug us.
The audience dug us, but it wasn't a
Could've
college audience. I saw some people that was like, I think you're like 16.
We
Yeah,
looked
like-
at the cooler at first, like, oh, that's a lot.
It's
not
almost
enough.
empty.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know what time it is, right?
But no, the one in
What
Boulder
time?
was the.
Shot fun time.
Woo. No. Okay, y'all have fun.
What the fuck is that?
It's a shot fun, dude.
You put the beer in it and you shotgun
Yeah, I'm
it.
good on that. I am curious, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
good
want to
on
watch
that.
it, but I'm
If you want a shot fun, hit the TikTok bio right here.
Yep, TikTok bio. $1,400. This is original, Gen 1. Used.
Gen 1.
Used.
What the?
Okay, that's kind of cool though.
Pretty
That's kind of
fucking cool.
smart.
You did that on stage?
I wish I invented that.
Oh shit.
Hey, yeah, we should do that.
Oh my god.
Just put an empty one. So, like, they think just
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be water. It's fucking water. Yeah. I'm just gonna.
they're like, oh, she's fucking badass. And you just fucking go into the next song.
I'm
Yo,
doing like a
that
liquid
shit
death
actually
because it looks like a
$1,400.
Modelo.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Coming out. It's just because you see all those TikToks like, what? You're charging $60 for the Kraken? I don't know why they're selling that thing so hard.
It's
Yeah.
nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's not
You have one?
convenient. No, but it looks cool. But $60?
This?
That's wild.
You talking about this or the Kraken?
Hey, you got the
Kraken.
koozie yet?
The Kraken.
Huh?
You got the koozies yet?
This should be here next week. We'll send you guys some koozies. Do you guys want to share koozies?
Oh no.
We have a merch here pretty soon.
Hey, the merch game is like the way you make money. It's
Oh yeah.
Fucking hustle it. Yeah.
Yep.
You'd be
We got
surprised.
some 2 guys 1 shot shirts. A couple, but Russ made them for us.
Those are all first editions. You know what I mean? Those
Wow.
might go on auction.
We need like 10 each.
Prototypes.
Yeah.
We need like 10 each of those.
Who's making them for you?
Uncle Russ.
Oh.
Well, I want to do that one, and then I want to do, you know, like how it says the 2 guys want to shed, but just on a hat, like to where it says like right here,
Yeah.
and then with a QR code or something like that. You know?
Dude, if we did Trucker hats? That's fire.
Oh yeah.
Who sells
And they're
truckers?
cheap.
Depends.
Trucker hats are the cheaper of the hats, yeah.
I can beat.
We looked into some like for
We're just having
embroidery.
a
Yeah.
pee party.
Where
over
did
there?
Jose's go? He didn't sit down?
No,
We'll
he
go
went
sit
to
with him.
pee. Everyone's having
So I'm
a
saying, you had to go sit down and pee or what?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, you just told me you were talking shit. What's going on?
Yeah. Fucking babe.
Would you happen to know the question that he had?
He's my best friend, but like I can't read his mind.
Well,
it
we're
wasn't
we're
meant to
interviewing
happen.
you now.
Okay,
let's
Chris.
go. Let's hear it.
All right.
What's your
Let's go,
name?
guys.
What made you start this podcast?
Me and Calvin would always be chilling in here. He's like, let's start a podcast. And one day he just called me. He's like, you want to do it this weekend? Let's do it. And then
We should
have a
Bar.
We should have a bar.
Do you know how many podcasts you've done? What number is this? Do you know?
45.
45?
45.
Wow.
Dang.
45.
All like that's what I was saying. Like the first like 10, I was just like belligerent, just loud, and I didn't even want to watch them because it's so bad. But like the content was good.
Yeah.
So like we're trying to like we slowly try to like bring back some stories out of like all the previous episodes because like that's what I was saying. Like our first episodes, like the content was good, but it was just like the talent wasn't. We were just
You're freaking
I'm always talented, baby.
shut
I'm
the
just
fuck
talking
up.
about-
Man.
That's part of
You
figuring
talk about
this
yourself
out.
lacking.
I feel that though. Like
It's
there's been a couple shows where like I drink too much.
Yeah.
Just like not too much, right? Like,
Yeah.
like just above like the tipsy level, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that was fun as hell.
yeah,
Maybe I
Yeah.
should keep drinking at shows.
yeah.
And I do everything in my willpower to like not do that because it's so easy to fall into that routine because you're
And
just
he ends
chasing
up like Mr.
that.
Lacey, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, rapper,
Yeah, like, at that point, like it's not like
Yeah.
you're denying yourself like actually feeling that.
And
for
what
yourself.
helped with that was like was really the comments because like it is true. Like I was drunk, I was hammered drunk, and I was telling the story, and I've been more listening instead of like interrupting. It's so hard for me not to interrupt. Like I'm like.
You saw I shook him off a couple times already.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like for
'Cause
me,
he
to,
knows,
like,
though.
keep it in. I can't keep it in because I will forget it, and then I was like, "Oh, it's so good."
You know it now though, because
Yeah.
you recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right?
recognize
That's
it,
like
yeah,
the thing you recognize like, oh, I'm about to interrupt, so like you hold it back.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the constructive criticism, I think. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think there are times like, okay, we played this song to the moon, right? This was a song that we had forever. It's one that Mario wrote. We had it for so long. We tried to record it in studio, and it was ass. It was so bad. And we like got like good feedback from Steve was the guy we worked with at Colorado Sound.
Shout
He
out
was-
Steve Avedis.
Yeah.
Steve Avedis with Colorado Sound. One of the
Yeah.
best producers. I feel
Well,
like has
they-
brought out the best in us whenever we worked with him.
yeah, and he genuinely is very amazing to work with. But like, this was a song that we've been playing for like 2 years, and we would play it live all the time. It's one of our favorite songs to play. So bad in the studio, but we listened to it and we like tried to play it together. It was so bad, and
Could you
sometimes
record it live?
maybe, but now that we like play it
No,
back,
no,
we
yeah.
kind of realize like
Yeah, that's like I don't even want to watch the first episode.
Yeah.
What's the
I don't
problem
wanna-
with it though?
Our
What's
first
the,
episode was like
It's-
sports.
I
what's
think,
the problem?
I think we just need to rework it. I think it was just more of like it's one of the first like. For example, it's like if you want to pick up drawing and then you like it's like one of your first drawings you ever drew and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Is that-
legitimately, Steve, like, after we played it, after we, like, listened to it back, because we all went back into the control booth in the studio, he's like, it sound like, do y'all enjoy playing this? And we all looked at each other like,
It's our favorite song.
Okay, it's okay.
It's
like,
our favorite song.
We played it, and he's like, it sounds like you hate this song. Just from, like, how we played it while we recorded it for that one take, just
And he
just
could
the
hear
beginner
it and
take.
everything else.
He
Yeah.
immediately picked it out, and we're like, yeah, maybe it was time. It's
Yeah.
time we
Yeah,
move
and
on.
we
I think it's
haven't-
just
yeah.
like we've just kind of evolved, kind of past it. We just kind of grown out of it. So it's like one of our first songs. Like still proud of it, right? Because it's that one of
Yeah,
our stepping
the
stones.
first
But
songs.
it's just something you eventually kind of grow out of. And,
Yeah.
And I feel that's
Uh,
maybe what y'all feel when it comes
yeah.
to your first.
Oh.
Specifically you when it comes
Yeah,
to your
dude,
first
I was.
episodes,
That's
right?
what I'm
Like,
saying. I used to be terrible.
Shit, I feel great about all of them. You
Shut
know what I
the
mean?
fuck up,
I've been doing good ass. I've been doing good
He's
ass
like,
stuff.
sometimes I fall asleep to them. Like,
The best ones are when I get fucked up.
Yeah. Calvin's doing a great job today. He's doing great. He's
No, man, I'll get
staying
like
apart.
2 beers down
Yeah,
during the podcast.
no, and he's like,
I gotta
it's like
keep
they're like
Chris under
hot.
fucking control.
He's like choke him down. He's like,
Chris, like, Calvin, we can't fucking end the podcast till you drink that.
I feel like you guys gotta do
I'm
a
like,
TikTok
fuck.
video just like snippets of the
No,
coffee
yeah,
table.
yeah.
Getting
No.
filled
Like a
with
time lapse?
yes,
Yeah.
Calvin, oh, that'd be good.
That would be.
yeah, if you had a camera from up here that just like time lapse, like and I did like a
Yeah.
quick time lapse of all the
Yeah,
beer.
that would be good.
We need a soundboard.
Sounds
Got
good.
it,
You got it this time.
I hate that noise.
Bam.
That's my least favorite noise in the entire world.
Really?
The
Colin, how you doing, bro?
I hate it. I hate when they fucking do that song.
Are you having fun?
I'm struggling with the door.
You got it.
That's
You
good
got it this
tonight,
time.
bro.
You killed it.
I know.
They said you're you know a lot of stuff, but those doorknobs, it is
I struggle.
God was trying to be fair, I guess. He's like, you will know everything except the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
You
go.
said you had a question for me before I left.
Oh,
Come on, Calvin, you better bring it up
fucking
right
call
now.
me right now.
Dude,
Well, I didn't want. I
Hey,
wanted to
Calvin.
give you the chance. To,
Yeah.
Calvin told me yesterday, he's all, I got the new camera, or today, he's all, I got the new camera. I was like, Calvin, you better figure it out, because if you embarrass me in front of my family, I swear to God.
You really did tell me that.
Oh my god.
I was like, fuck, alright.
Not
I'll
even
work it out.
friends.
Let me read the manual real quick.
Shit.
But
Oh,
like I asked Mario, like, what do you look for in a song then? When you're listening to a song, like, what do you hear? Because
Playing the
you're
bass.
your bass, right?
yeah, I definitely say I always like listen to the music first, like before like the lyrics and stuff. Like
Bass is music.
yeah, bass is music, right? Like well, because like me
He's
and
the heart
my-
and soul, dude.
Me and
This
my
guy's the
my-
heart. He's pumping the blood through the whole veins of the band, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because me and my girlfriend have this conversation a lot. Like she always listens to, like the lyrics first, and
Okay.
like if like the lyrics are good, she'll be like a song that she'll really enjoy. But for me, I don't really listen to the lyrics. Like there's some of my favorite songs I've listened to like for years. I just don't know the lyrics to because I always just listen to the music first. Like even like because I do listen to a little bit of like some like rap and stuff. But like if the beat is just like not catching my attention, even if like the lyrics are very like intricate and like story driven, like if the beat's not there, I don't really like enjoy it. Like when it comes to rap, I really like Tyler the Creator, like Kendrick Lamar, because I feel like their instrumentation always has like a lot of heart put into it, and just like a lot of interesting stuff. Because I also feel like there's be some rap where I feel like the beat's just kind of there as like in service of the lyrics
To
and-
follow the lyrics,
yeah, and
and
it's not
the
really like there
rhythm
to
of the
shine.
lyrics.
and it's harder for me to get into those like that type
Instead of
song.
listening to the beat and then you just go in on the beat.
Yeah, so like for me, it's just like if the music itself like just catches my attention, like it's interesting, there's a groove to it, or it's just like unique or anything along those lines. Like that's always what catches my attention. It's always what, like will kind of pull me into the song. But yeah, that's kind of how I listen to music.
Might interject real quick. Travis Scott's newest album.
I was about to say that! It was on the tip of my tongue!
Travis Scott's newest.
I haven't listened
I
yet.
heard good
I'm gonna
things. I
save
haven't listened
myself.
to it. I heard good things.
I don't know what good things you've heard. Travis Scott needs to grow and change as an artist because he is relying on Kanye's production to carry him. And Kanye is not a good person. That's a whole different conversation. His album is not good.
Hey, you
It
better
is a
calm
repeat.
down, bro. You're about to be canceled.
I voted for Kanye.
So I'm beef with
Travis Scott's
All
newest
press is
album
good
is
press,
literally
right?
a copy or like a deviation of Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight. McKnight.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not me. I can't do it.
Who's that? Birds in the Trap?
That's Travis Scott's album. That's where
Oh.
Goosebumps comes from.
Oh,
An
okay.
antidote. And
You know that meme
Those
of
are
like
good
the girl and the guy cuddling, and she's like, "Oh my god, I
What's
wonder
that
what
one
he's
we
thinking
listened to?
about. He's probably thinking about other girls." And it's Mara being like, "Fucking Travis Scott, with his production shit." That's Mario. Sometimes I'll be
Look,
like,
Travis Scott did not put his heart and soul into this album.
Look. Through all this crap, I know I talk a lot about like music. Like I love getting into the nitty gritty, but whenever I look at Colin, I just feel reassured because Colin feels me. I know Colin understands some of the comments that I say, and so I'm like, as long as Colin's got me, God's got me, right? Like.
I just know that you guys have a good time with it. I think Colin's the one who heard me say that. But
Come on. I'm not repeating it.
I know.
You gotta repeat
Oh,
it.
Modelo time, fool. Modelo
So,
time.
like, but no, and I also that's what I thought like.
Oh, this podcast is also sponsored by Modelo, America's #1 beer.
We're sponsored by. What cups are these?
Solo.
So
We're sponsored by
Silver
Solo. Silver Solo. Get
Silver
yours.
Solo.
Silver
We got
Solo.
Modelo, we got
Yeah, that sounded
Truly.
hard. We can sell it hard. I think
Finest
we can sell it
silver
hard.
money can buy.
Oh, bro, it's
mine
pretty
is so
good.
like, oh my god.
It's straight
But
good.
we
Anybody
talked
else see
about
one?
this- Oh, truly? Or something? I don't
Truly,
know.
I do.
Truly?
Any of the drinks that I brought, are any left?
No, we just remember he said there's nothing left.
Release the beast.
Those are the first ones we drank.
Oh, dude, you got the worst.
Not the peach one. No, just give me truly.
In fact, just dump it in the cooler. Let it.
Come on, bro. Oh, you were here. Were you here? When I did the shop?
The
No.
what?
Yeah, he
The
was.
shotgun?
The shop fun.
Colin was
Yeah, I
going,
did.
think.
I saw you.
Oh, CS wasn't here.
Yeah.
Oh, did you do it?
Yeah.
Just,
I can do it again. It's not a
just
deal.
give me truly.
I believe you. I believe you.
I'm
You
sure
don't
it's
have
okay.
to. No.
You know what? It's in your hand. I got you. Yeah. Whichever one you
This
choose.
one.
Scary Terry?
The brain function not all the way
Bitch.
there.
Oh,
Bitch.
Bitch.
I love
You choose. You choose.
There you go.
What do you want, dude? You bitched about the peach. You bitched about the
He
berry.
said truly
Which
like
one
5
you want?
times, and you were just like,
He saw it. These are your choices.
To be fair, I didn't hear much.
When these came out, all the flavors were like
Uh,
solid to
this
decent.
story again.
What
Yeah,
happened,
the
bro?
berries.
They put aspartame in them or something?
Yes.
I feel like the last
Oh
three
my
times,
God.
the last 3 times I've hung
Oh my
out with
God.
Mario, he's like, these monsters used to be so good.
Shut up.
No, Mario was like.
They changed the recipe.
Alright,
It's
alright.
bad now.
I'm
Has
like,
anybody?
oh.
I want one. I want one so bad. Has
What's that?
anybody had the fucking hard Baja Blast?
No, I
No,
want one too.
I
No,
haven't tried
they're
one
hard to
either.
find. They're hard to find.
I saw
They're
them once.
regional.
I didn't even buy one, but I like took a
I didn't
photo.
know.
I was
I
like,
have
I
to
need this in my life.
You can't go outside.
I,
you can
I'm a
if you-
tequila
if you want
boy.
to,
I like
Because he's a tequila boy doing
You
tequila
can do
things.
DIY. Just get some Baja Blast.
Okay, okay. If we're talking about hot blast and alcohol,
I made a Baja Blast shot.
Can I tell you the worst?
Ooh, that was
Baja-
fire.
It was
the
good.
worst drink I ever made.
Let's hear it.
All right, so we got Baja.
Uh-huh.
What is it?
You got Baja?
Like an H sound, right? And then we got like Jaeger, which is like a Y sound. Put Jaeger with Baja Blast. We got Bajagers. The worst. This is
I'm
some
gonna
college shit.
I'm
dude.
gonna do it. I had to do it.
You gotta try it. I'll
What's
say
the
that.
worst-
Last time out too.
What's the worst mixed drink you've come up with that you yourself have tried?
We had an Apache shot.
Oh, the Apache is so good.
It's like hot sauce,
Tequila, pickle juice. So good.
What?
That was like episode
Yeah.
2. It was not good. It just tastes like
Yeah,
hot sauce
no.
burning your whole throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You'd love it.
You love it.
What I don't know about
Decide
that.
what's the worst mixed drink you had.
You know,
Like,
The
you
worst-
made yourself.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been that adventurous with mixed drinks. I play it safe. You know, like
Yeah.
what? Why do I
Crown
gotta
Coke.
put? Yeah, just put like lemonade and vodka together. It's not that
Green tea
complicated.
shots.
Why do I
That's
gotta? Why do I
not
gotta
that
throw?
complicated.
Why do I gotta throw all this shit in there? Just lemonade and vodka.
Look,
It's good.
look, whether this is a frat secret or not, it's not a frat secret.
Well, I guess
So-
well.
Go
it-
for it, go for it, go for
I was
it.
gonna
Yeah,
say-
you haven't talked very
the-
much.
I guess
Shut up.
I didn't make it, but it was when you're playing Rage Cage, the last cup.
Rage Cage is so confusing.
So fun.
I still don't know how to play the
The
game.
boomer mind cannot comprehend Rage Cage. But it was the last cup, the bitch cup as they call it, and it was the party I was like just beer and vodka and whatever drinks they had, and I got it. Well, my girlfriend got it, but I took the hit, you know. So
How
I,
it goes.
I chugged it, and that was probably the worst drink I had.
I've had a
I
King's
was
Cup
like
before.
fine, like for like a minute, and then like after that,
Hey,
I was like,
Remember
gone.
my Uncle Ray had the King's Cup?
Oh.
It was a mug. It wasn't a
Yeah,
cup.
we
It was
still-
a
we
mug.
still-
It was a mug.
Yeah, it's
I
rough.
think I've told this story. We played Rage Cage with fucking Everclear.
Oh,
Oh, no
Ew.
thanks.
That's the only time I was like in the middle of like a college game, and I was like, I don't feel like dying tonight.
Well,
Like,
I'm about to
not,
hit you.
I'm not
I
drinking.
don't think any good story involved
You know,
Everclear.
I'm about to hit you with like what we drank when
You
we
don't
were
know
in
how to make
college.
the jungle juice recipe then.
Jungle Juice is different than fucking Rage Cage with like fucking straight Everclear.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I know.
Before
but
you
the
get there.
jungle juice recipe though, it's
Yeah, but at that point, there's so much, it's
No,
so far
I'm sure the
removed
rest-
from the Everclear.
we're not sharing. What episode are we sharing the recipe?
I don't think we ever shared it.
That's family
We gotta
secret.
share it and then drink it.
I'll
A
freak-
We gotta
whole
make it.
15, a whole.
Well, it's just
Five
me and you.
gallons.
Next time it's a solo episode.
I've got it, Iglo.
How frequently do y'all make
Nah.
jungle juice to drink?
No,
Just got
last
it.
time it's been like 5 years.
We used to do it for Chris's house parties.
All the time.
Okay, cool. So then I don't care. I don't mind sharing this. When I was in college and house parties would happen, we had something called purple drink.
Purple is their frat color, so that's why.
Oh, okay. Was it actually purple?
Two
Yeah.
ingredients. Two ingredients.
Ooh.
Purple?
Shit ton of
Purple?
overly
And drink.
sweet. A shit ton of overly sweet grape Koolaid, and 2 handles of Everclear.
All right.
Everclear.
Ooh.
Favorite Kool-Aid right now. Go.
Right? What the fuck?
What the
Great.
fuck?
Just red.
Just red.
That's what it's called.
That's
It's
how you know you're ghetto.
red.
You call cherry red.
Dude, I haven't
It doesn't
drank
taste like
Kool-Aid in,
cherry,
like,
it's red.
fucking 25 years.
I've only
What are you
known 2
talking
flavors
about?
of Kool-Aid. Red
Blue
and purple.
raspberry lemonade is the best one.
Dark cherry.
No.
Black cherry.
Man, you
Is
were
it black cherry?
privileged as a kid,
Yeah,
weren't
bou-
you?
No,
Bougie
I wasn't.
life. Your Kool-Aid was
The
blue.
bougie
Bougie.
Kool-Aid was blue.
Yeah, it was that
Yeah,
blue
what the
lemonade.
fuck?
It's the same price. Motherfucker.
Who the fuck
No,
gets
10 cents
I'm
more.
charging on it.
Who
It's
gets
10 cents
blue
more.
Kool-Aid? It's red or purple. What the hell?
You go to Chiba Hut? I get the blue Kool-Aid, bro.
Dark cherry.
Yes. No.
Dark
Favorite
cherry.
Kool-Aid right now.
Oh gosh, the red
Blue
one.
raspberry.
See? Red or
Red
purple?
one.
Red or purple?
Red.
No.
Oh my
Blue
God, we need
raspberry.
to
They
buy
got
it.
blue raspberry lemonade.
All I had
remember
was
that
like
one.
Kool-Aid jammers. So we talking like. They have the
I probably have some
Jammers.
right here.
Are we talking
Jammers?
powder like
Jammers is
slides
like
or
fancy
Jammers,
shit.
bro.
Fuck
Dude,
you,
I was 14 when
Yeah,
Jammers
but
came
dude.
out.
The
How long you been going to Costco with those jammers,
Oh
man?
my God.
Like, God, how long you had a Costco
We're talking me
membership?
like fucking 5 years old. Like, oh, my daycare mom brought fucking
My
jammers to
daycare
the
mom.
zoo.
My dad said
We had
they used
Capri
to-
Suns, bro.
they
And
used
that was a shit. If you had a wild cherry, woo!
I had the barrel
that's
juice.
just what I said. The barrels.
Those were good.
You
I have some in the
Yeah,
fridge.
the tinfoil.
Yeah, little barrels. With
That
little
shit
champagne.
burned. That shit burned while you drank
yeah.
it.
And sometimes you
It
couldn't
was
get
oh.
you couldn't get the tinfoil off, so you got to punch it.
That was
Put the
because
hole in it.
it burned because of all the sugar. You know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
like it was sitting at the
Yeah.
bottom, and then once you stir it up, you know what I mean?
Oh my
It was
God.
like radioactive.
Just all food coloring 5 and shit. Just,
Yeah, all the colors, all the worst
Different.
colors.
I
Red
see.
5, red 15,
I always
blue
expected to
47.
be like my thirst to be satiated.
No.
I'd be like,
You were
this is gonna help me.
thirstier.
You were thirsty. Yeah, exactly. You were
Yeah.
thirstier, and so you would like grab a Coke, and then next thing you know, you're not only hyped up on like 50 grams of sugar, but then you have like 12 grams of caffeine in you as
Oh,
a
yeah.
6-year-old
It's like, I'm
kid.
jacked up.
I'm ready to fucking take on the world.
No, you're like
It's-
SpongeBob.
you kill a couple, next thing you know, you're.
Yeah. It was always bad, but then every time you see it, it's like, I want one of those.
I want one.
One of
It
those.
Even
always
when I
brought
see
you
him at
back
the
in.
kids' party, I'm just like,
Do they taste the same? Like, does that
yeah, they're
Yeah,
watered
it's
down.
better.
They're watered down. They're watered
Yeah,
down.
gross.
They weren't as potent as they used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad said they used to take the Kool-Aid packets that you get. They would take the grape ones, put salt in it, shake it up, and just eat that straight.
Ooh, that's
It's
what-
so good.
That's
He's
my
always-
that's my childhood right
It's so
there.
good.
Because he has a bunch of cracks in his tongue, and he'll be like, "That's how I got these."
You're right here.
Ah.
Nah.
He's not lying.
You guys like sour stuff?
He looks like
You like sour stuff?
Busted.
Mm.
Who likes sour stuff?
Like
Busted,
Grand
busted.
Canyon through his
Yeah,
lips
no,
and
that's
fucking-
what I've seen.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't like sour stuff, Osias?
Nah, I'm
Really?
good.
We got some sour shit. Give him one.
Yeah, we got the sourest candy in the world.
Oh, I
Bad.
Barnett's make a sour, baby.
I have like a
Let's
clutch
go
for it,
in my
Mario.
mouth. I can't
They're
let
sour.
that right now.
Is this like
Yeah,
They're
you got
kinda
a
sour
bag of
something?
weed in there.
It's like maltic acid instead.
Yeah.
Bro, that smells rank.
Bro, you opened
Yeah.
it and like smoke came out of that packet.
We had some last
That-
week.
Yeah, we have one.
It's
last
rank.
week. I'll do it with you.
It's not even like.
Dude, I'm so good.
You like sour stuff? You like sour stuff?
Yeah.
Not since
Oh,
I was
I
like
love
fucking
sour stuff.
12.
I love. No.
I
What
did,
is-
and
I
then,
would, like,
then I turned 13.
Absolutely just demolish them in
Oh,
one sitting. Not because I like.
I
I just
get
loved
wet on
sour
sour
stuff when I was a
stuff. I
kid.
would
Like
just
I
like
wanted the
say-
cracks in my tongue. I
I
wanted to be
love
fucked
sour.
up.
People
Dude,
who
we
eat
do.
these-
We did this
You
last
don't
week.
like sour?
I do, but this is
Eat it!
No.
It's hard.
Now!
I have a cut inside my mouth.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's
I have
like-
cuts on my tongue.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, 'cause
From
we
last
know,
week.
like,
Yeah, from last
7.
week.
I just would like to say that anybody who has this gives me the
Are
kidney,
you going with
like,
them, Shaker?
Yeah, I'm going with them.
Oh
You're
my
gonna
God.
join too. 'Cause
Let me
Colin
ask
loves
Colin.
sour.
Let me ask Colin a fucking.
That's
the,
how they make lean. Huh?
This candy, if you
No.
eat this candy, it gives me the vibe that you like chopped up Smarties and
Oh,
like
yeah,
stored them
nah.
in high school.
I did that.
All right, Colin. I
Never
got
saw
a
you
question for you
more.
I
after
know,
this.
I saw this literally somebody in my house did the same
I'll
shit.
wait till afterwards. So I
I'm
don't
not
fuck it up.
doing it, so I don't know what you're asking me.
Yeah. just-
Peer
It's
pressure, we
so
don't give
good.
in.
Mario, it's so good.
Bad.
Cheers,
Cheers.
for solidarity. We ain't fucking.
I ain't kissing you
Maniacs.
later.
What's the point?
Just wait.
No face.
Face.
I know that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna do.
Put it in the back in the corner.
That's cheating.
Is it?
You gotta put it on the full tongue.
No, it goes right to the
It
throat.
gets in the back, that salivating little piece.
I feel that Mario has like a really strange palate though, because one time he gave me this. Was it
He's a
cough drops or was it
masochist.
gum? No, it was gum. Oh my god, he's like my dad and I really like this gum, and he gave me one, and it was like chewing a like a really bad cough drop, like a Ricola, like a
Yeah,
really
those
bad one.
licorice.
Ooh, I love
Yeah.
those.
It was like so bad, but like it was like bitter and gross.
Ah,
And I
sour.
like spit it. I was like, these are so good. I don't understand. And just
It
like
tastes like salt.
It's acid, bro. It's like salt.
Mario needs to
Yeah.
feel pain while he's eating.
it's like the fiberglass is in that.
Maybe sweat, Mario. I have beads right now.
Now it's all done.
Top tier content right here. You throw it away.
You break it, it's all fizzy inside.
That's just sweet. It's so sweet.
After the fizziness, yeah.
First there's that.
There you go.
It's so sweet.
Chris
Like,
Roberts
it's
from
so
Go.
sweet.
I want to sour all the way through.
Colin,
What's good?
when you listen to music,
Yeah.
like I asked these guys, so the first time a song hits your ear, what do you?
What synapses fire in your brain?
Let's go. Damn.
Uh,
Yes. Damn
It
it.
wasn't.
What'd you say? Synapses?
No.
My synapses are fried from Somalia, you know?
fucking A, man.
Chris was there.
So much fun.
Full spectrum. You know, if it's got like a nice bass, it's got like crispy top end, and we're like filling in everything within that range in a pleasant way.
Wall of
It's like-
sound type stuff.
Yeah, if you got like a good wall of sound, but it's like not too much in like the 4K and the 6K range where it like fucking hurts. If you're like filling that spectrum, but in like a pleasant way, I'm happy. That's why I'm like a big EDM guy. So like, you know, some like good like techno shit, like Charlotte DeWitt. You know, that shit hits hard. We're doing like some. I'm actually going to see her in a little bit. I'm excited.
That
about
wasn't a sour. Sorry, dude. I'm telling you, this ADHD is so bad.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry.
That's why I'm a big EDM guy, because like you can't you can do a pretty damn good job when it comes to like rock music, but like when you're making music in a DAW, like you have like surgical control over every little sound.
What's a DAW?
DAW, a digital audio workstation.
Hammers.
More of an asterisk with like
So like
DAW.
Pro Tools.
So is that where you like you record a beat and then you just like play it over again, or is that just like a?
You got Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools, Bitwig if you're something. If you're a scrub.
You're a scrub.
But yeah, like you know, just like good production, like big fat chalky sounds. That's like why artists like Noisy inspire me so much, because like you got these like crunchy sounds that are raw as fuck, but they sound good. You know, it's really easy to like fuck up a sound like a drum kit and like make it sound like gritty, but it sounds like shit gritty. You know, it's really hard to make something sound like crunchy and gritty, but also like, damn, that sounds really good.
Tasty.
Yeah, that's what
Peanut butter.
Yeah,
And jelly.
got the buttery drums. You know?
Buttery jumps.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what gets me. Good
Yeah.
production.
We gotta listen to some music after this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
no, it's
Chris is itching.
Yo, I know it. Fucking. Okay.
Yeah,
When you guys listen to music, do you
Hold
listen
up.
to the whole song,
Hold up.
or do
Can
you
we
skip
ask
the
her?
next?
Depends.
I
Depends on
just-
what it is.
Fiona,
I
can we
can't
ask you
control
first?
it. Like
Yeah.
I
Shake her weight.
I'm telling a story.
No, you're not.
You don't listen to the whole song?
It's not even a
Wait,
story.
you talking about a
That's
new song or just?
So like playing a song, and then like the song's getting close to the end, and you just play another song after that, and then another song after
You don't
that.
Chris,
listen
I'm
to
gonna
the whole
cancel you. You keep only interrupting the woman in this
Ooh,
What
damn.
did you say?
group.
Hey,
It was
Oh,
my
no,
I think
turn.
you-
okay, I
hold
need
up.
permission to speak. I get to
Hold up. I think you asked before. Let me talk first, okay? Then you can talk. Just kidding.
Let her speak.
So you answered a little bit earlier about the
Yes.
Halsey thing. Is you
Yeah.
listen to how she's like the whole like sound flow and
Yeah.
like her voice and how she hits it. But is that how you? Is that the first thing you listen to because you're the vocals? Like as soon as a song hits, you're listening for those vocals and how it works together, or you like how it works the beat, or what do you think of?
Definitely, vocals is one of the like one of the first things I listen to. I think the main thing I listen to is like, did this song make me feel something when I just feel something, bro.
That
I'm
emotion,
like,
right?
Yeah, the emotion. And so
Okay.
when that song like makes me feel like if I listen to it, I'm like, fuck, I wish I wrote this. Like fuck, like I want to perform this. If I can imagine myself being like, oh god, if I perform this live, like what would this look like? Then that's a big part of me for that. I definitely look for vocals. Anything that like I know that I can practice to or work with. I really love to like listen for that, and before everybody judges me, I was a theater kid, so I really love musicals for the challenge. Stop shaking your head,
Has to be
bitch.
musical.
I wanted to be.
Like it's Zac Efron, you know what I mean?
Theater music is like vocally outside of like opera, very hard to sing, so I really like it because it's a challenge for me to, like when I practice. So I really like to listen for like the talent in the vocals, and like especially if there's like certain ranges where like I know I can't hit, but I want to practice with it to try to get to that point, or feeling it in certain points, 'cause especially like when you're hitting high notes, there's like different places in like your vocals or within your face that you're singing. There's some areas that like I haven't reached yet, or like others I haven't unlocked those yet. So trying to like listen for that is really important to me. And then I'm also
You
like
get some more XPs.
XPs.
Yeah.
Experience points.
Okay. I don't play video games. I don't play theater kid. You think I did that shit? But and then lyrics. I mean, obviously, I don't care like all the time. If it's a bop, it's a bop, and I like to fucking have music that you can just like mindlessly listen to. But lyrics are a big thing for me, and that's also another thing with Halsey. I do feel that she's a very good lyricist. So listening to words and then the way that people make art out of that is really inspiring to me, because there are times when it's like I listen to a song and it feels like poetry. Watsky has this his Times Infinity album. There are I think 4 or 5 songs where they're like all over the place in the album, but he did a whole like series music video where they're all played in order, and like when you go on YouTube to watch it, there's like a whole music video to play with all of it, and it's like a whole story.
Oh,
And one of them he's like rapping over classical music, and he's telling the story about, oh my god, I'm already forgetting his name, but the classical artist who I think he was in Germany, moved to America. All he had was like his piano to play, and he tried to commit suicide at one point. He failed, and then he ended up being like a major piano player. It was like playing in Carnegie Hall, and then he talks about
pianist.
Yeah. He's a major pianist, and then he connects that with like how like years later his dad is just walking around New York and like is at Carnegie Hall, and it's like, can I like, do you guys have tickets? And they're like, well, if you're okay with sitting on the side stage, sometimes we release a couple seats. And then he connects it with like that guy's life story and how it intertwined with his dad's, and then how like his dad's inspiration with classical music intertwined with his life. And yeah, in the song, like the couple songs he's talking about that, and it is really sad. And then he talks about like his own thoughts of suicide throughout the whole thing, and it ends like a really positive note. But when the fact that like the art went from like, and the music video is also very good because there's a lot of really good like art just portraying
Visuals.
the visuals to go to the story, but it's so well done, and I feel that that's like a different. It was like different. Like the people haven't really done that where he's connecting all the songs. There's a bunch of different.
So the album's pretty much connected. It's like fluid.
Kind of, but like it's only like 4 or 5 songs out of the like 10-song album. So, and they're not even. I don't think they're even in that order on the album. Like you have to go to YouTube to find the full.
To find the full order.
Yeah, because I didn't even know about it until like I think I looked it up YouTube at one point, and yeah, they're all connected to tell one story, and I think that that's like really. It was a really creative way to do it, and then he even like did this thing where his last 3 albums all said something, but it was like one of them was like complaint, but it was like COMPLAINT, and the next album was another word spelled out, but then his 3 albums, like when you put them together, it all spells like one thing, and it's just really good. I just feel that that's like art wise. Lyric-wise, it's very well done, and I really like looking for like the creativity in that, and the like, wow, that was really cool. How did you come up with that? Like, how do you? And finding inspiration in that too, to like, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense.
Cheers, I'll drink to that, bro.
So,
Hey,
like,
cheers, y'all. We have
Hell yeah! We're cheers. Who's got a cheers? So everybody have a
I'm
cheers.
smoking them, shaker. I don't even know
Can I do
You still have another one?
Can I do the
No
old school
way,
Spanish
Calvin.
one?
He's like,
Arriba!
Yeah, abajo.
Abajo.
Espérate.
Oh, wait.
This guy's been smoking.
What's
This says you're right to party. Let's go. I am right now.
Pa arriba! Pa abajo!
Pa
Pa centro!
Y pa dentro.
Pa adentro.
You like Mexican music, Colin?
You already asked me this question.
Did I?
He hates it.
Fuck you. He hates it.
Hey, I'll put you on some like old school Mexican
Oh,
shit.
dude, I know.
I'll put
The
you
only
on.
Mexican music I know is like
I put you on that new school.
shit from a quince.
I love that shit.
Like,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
songs
Me too.
that you hear and you're like, what the fuck?
No. I'll put you on some of that like actual like old school like fucking
Bad Bunny.
1950s.
Alright, we gotta hurry up and end this podcast so we listen to some music.
Yeah.
You're just Russian so you can listen to music, huh?
I
Yeah.
do. I love
I
it.
think we should end listening to some of your guys' music. I don't know if that's okay.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
for how
Mario.
that works.
giving us the
Not
rights?
allowed.
Yeah, I think Mario also sent you the files for.
Oh, sweet.
You got files, dog?
Got
you
files
sent
on
files.
files.
Oh, I should
Couple
guys. I should have sent you guys
Told
the
me
two
to
guys
send
want
it.
shed.
Because Chris asked for
PNGs.
it.
So
Some
like,
GIFs.
you got some GIFs?
What?
You got some GIFs?
Is it
Yeah.
GIFs or a GIF? You say GIF?
I say
I
GIF.
say GIF.
Fuck
I
you.
say
My
jive.
name Jim.
Is it GIF?
It's a GIF.
I say GIF.
I say
Is it
Jim.
a GIF or
I
a
say
GIF?
GIF.
Computer boy?
Jive.
Computer
It's a
boy.
jive.
You jive, motherfucker! You jive, motherfucker!
Okay, I regret saying that.
Sounds like never again.
What's your name?
Just put the two guys on the
Oh,
shed.
yeah,
'Cause
you're
it's
right,
shared
you're right.
between us.
Just put it
It's shared between us.
Yeah, why don't
I
you
sent
use
this.
Spotify?
You can also just do it on
aside
Spotify.
from that, but I like send them specifically to you, because she told me to send them to you.
Because you were
You're
asking
not mad at
for
me,
it.
bro.
On Spotify,
I'm not
everywhere.
trying to find
Calvin's the producer.
All
dude. I'm
platforms.
just
So
saying
we're
for
gonna try
the
it out.
salty.
Editor in chief.
Question for the both of you.
I'm just saying it for the thrills. You know?
Question
Yeah,
for
I'm
the
just
both
gonna-
of you.
Oh.
Do you have a favorite Immigrant Child song?
Ooh.
The one we listened to last night was dope.
Fake
I know,
fans.
right?
But before we get to that, so like I asked you guys about what you guys hear in a song. So when you guys make a song together, like what is it? How does that go? Is it just
What's
someone
involved?
thinking like, oh, I got like a
It's a lot of
I got-
yelling and fighting, and then
broken glass.
yeah, bro, everyone's yelling at
Everyone's
each other.
eating dry
Everyone's
macaroni.
angry.
I know.
it's like someone like I got a good riff and like they like
Usually
Bring
Mario,
it in,
com-
or-
or usually Mario comes in with like a riff or something.
So
like,
I heard
part of the song.
I heard.
all right, what's his ADHD?
You wanna
shit
say
about
something?
Chris?
I can't say it because my head is going by the
Okay,
way.
well, why are
I
you
heard-
bringing that out?
I heard Travis Scott's new album. Let's make it better.
Mario usually comes in with like kind of a foundation for a song, and then we all kind of just like
Yeah.
skeleton that we all kind of just kind of play around, and then
Nice.
just keep playing and evolving until we find something that we're all
That we're
kind
all-
of like, and like because since we all have like overlapping music interests, we also have a lot of like different music interests, so that all kind of just kind of coalesces into this like kind of sound that we can think is kind of
It's all cohesive.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's kind of like one of the fun,
That was a
like,
big word.
funnest or like the best parts about writing is because we all have such different styles and tastes, and within that, like there'll be times where we're writing a song, and then vocally I'm like, okay, I'm trying to write something. Like, what are you guys looking for? And then they'll send me new artists that I don't know, and they'll be like, listen to this, and then it's new inspiration for me. And I think it's also like the fun part about working together is that we can share inspiration and share art that we love, and then are like, okay, how can we make art that we love? Like after, like once again, all art is just like repeated from something. So, like, how can we make our own art, like being inspired through that, and how can I also give examples of like this is what I'm looking for, or this is what I'm looking for, and you know, spread that. as
Scoot
well.
back. I'm sorry.
No, I was fortunate enough to get to chat with this
Get a
with
rod.
No, he needs to have science thing. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Go on.
I got to chat about this with the bass player of VCO just yesterday, and it was I got to brag about you guys a lot yesterday because we were just getting breakfast. He happened to be in Glenwood Springs, so we just
Oh,
like,
what?
yeah,
Nice.
he just got. Well, he's touring. You know,
Yeah.
he's just
Oh.
he's around
Playing
the state.
everywhere.
He's playing
Good for
everywhere.
him.
everywhere.
Good for him.
Yeah. Shout out Zach Ritchie, my boy.
Zach Ritchie.
Yeah, playing with Riverspell. Shout out Riverspell. We were chatting, getting breakfast, and I was bragging about you guys, and I was like, I love how fluid our writing process is, because like Mario is crazy when it comes to just like pulling out. He's just got a million skeletons in his closet. That's a good way to put it.
That's so dark. That sounds so dark. I promise you it's song ideas. I promise you.
Good album name.
Just a few dead bodies. Yeah.
Good album name.
That is a good
Good
project.
No,
name,
skeleton,
yeah.
that closet.
No, that album should be called Just a Few Dead Bodies.
Just a few dead bodies.
So when you go into this, right? Do you normally just have like? Do you purposely just have skeletons, or do you like do you not build something
Or
up
do
more
they start
than
off
you,
as humans?
like do you,
Just corpses, or
Break them down.
how does this work?
like do you come in with to them with skeletons
Acid,
on
yeah.
purpose? Like do you not build it out more?
There's very few times where I do build it out, but for the most part, like when I write whenever I write like an idea, I try to write like, okay, here's the verse, here's the chorus,
Analytical.
here's the bridge, right? And then I like take stock in my head. I'm like, what part do I do not care about, right? Because I try to like write a bass part as best as I can, but ultimately when I come to the table with them, to the writing space with them, I tell them like, all right, here's what I like about what I made and what I'm presenting to y'all. The rest of it, do what you want with it. I don't care and it's not that I don't care. It's that I want you to have your expression on it. Like one of our newest songs, there's like one specific bass riff that I have, and I told Josiah straight up like, keep this, everything else, do what you want with it.
Well, then for the context of that, like Mario will sit and like not just for the guitar part, but he'll
Ableton, yeah, I use Ableton.
Yeah, well with Ableton, then he'll like add a drum part, he'll add a bass part, just to be like, this is kind of the vibe that I'm going for. This is what I'm listening for. But yeah, it still gives you know, like I still want you to do you and to like make your own sound with it, but like let's find our sound with this.
Just lays down like the basic idea.
Yeah.
Of what you're thinking.
And I can't be too sensitive about it because like, while I may have my idea of what it was, like at the end of the day, whatever we come up with is gonna be, I feel, a lot stronger than what I present as a skeleton because it's just that.
Just more
It is-
true.
Yeah.
It's the base level of what I want a song to be, and I'm presenting it to them because I want their touch on it. I want their
'cause
identity on it.
He like understands that like whatever he wrote, that's Mario's sound. But in order for it to be, I
Your
guess,
guys'
Immigrant's
sound,
child
yeah.
sound, you know, it's we all have to inject into it. And we all have to take it and run with it as we would. I think he does a good job of being able to, like, this is what I want. Well, I have this vision, you know, like being able to take that vision and maybe evolve it to something different than what I initially intended, you know, in order for it to be our
but not
sound.
being like, no,
Yeah.
this is I want it
This
to be
is it.
this way
Mhm.
instead of being that way. You know what I mean?
Well, and there's
Yeah.
like a challenge within that, like how Mario was saying, like I can't.
That would be really hard because that's really hard.
because
Because like you have a vision of a song in your head.
and you have to like be able to let it go enough to
Yeah.
let everybody else write with you.
Exactly.
And I think that's like a challenge within that where Mario's like, I can't be too sensitive about it. Where obviously there's moments in practice where like we don't want to be like shitty with each other, but there's like I don't really like what you did there.
Fuck you!
Like, yeah, I know, a little bit.
But that takes a lot of bravery,
It
right?
does.
It takes a lot of
It
courage
takes a lot of bravery
to like
bravery to be that honest.
look someone in the face, especially when it comes to art and creation, and be like,
Don't interrupt.
Before he jumps out, we're getting his already ready.
like
I am brave.
Like it takes a lot of bravery
Yeah,
and courage, and not just from like the person saying it, but like from the person hearing it to be able to hear that and be like, okay, well I need to try. I'll try something else.
Yeah.
Right. Like especially the person receiving it because it's so easy to point fingers.
I
and be
thought
like,
Calvin would be
nah,
on
I don't
time
like
all
that.
the time, but it's like
It's constructive though, right? Like you're trying to help
is.
each
Yeah.
other.
I'll say my only problem when it comes to like criticism is when it's not constructive.
Yeah.
When you're just like, I don't like that. You're like, cool. What do you want? Like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like, well then fuck you.
I don't know.
No,
Anything
yeah.
but that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give feedback. Give
Yeah.
actual
Yeah,
feedback.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
just say you don't like something. Like
Tell me what you
think
want.
your thoughts through. Say what you want it to be
And
instead of just saying you don't
if I
like
ever
it.
like say that
Say
shit to
what
you
you
guys,
need
it's
to
sorry. I'm
say.
sorry because I don't. The only reason I'm not giving constructive criticism is because I don't have like the vocabulary to describe what I want.
And it can be hard to communicate that too sometimes,
Especially with sound, right?
Especially with sound. And I think that there's also like in a weird way a level of trust that you have to have with someone to be like, I trust you enough to give me like the constructive criticism, like
Right.
and being in practice and being able to be like, okay, I know that you're telling me that, but I trust that you're doing it because you care about the art that we're making and you're not trying to be shitty, you're just trying to say, hey, I think for this song I don't like this. Or like I don't like this, but I liked that. I think we're really good at being like, that was sick, I liked that, we did good here, and then being like,
That was
also,
trash.
But that was
Do not ever bring it
no,
here
there's
again.
times where Mario like will just sit there or
Do not ever bring that up.
like never
If you
again.
play it again, I swear to God, I'll burn this place down.
Or like times when we'll play something, even like all of us will get home after the gig and we're like, that was the worst time we've ever played that one song.
Oh, shit.
Or after like just even like in practice, I'll be like, nope, that was shit.
Like, well,
So bringing, sorry, go ahead.
no,
Go for
you go first.
So bringing Colin in, was that like an experience just trying to like figure out how to work the songs with him and how to build him into it, or like was there
I would love
Like,
to hear
very
you
touchy
guys'
period?
perspective.
I'll say this real quick
perspective.
so that y'all can talk because I talk so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I
You
had
do. 2 seconds.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm just kidding. I'm
I
just
know.
kidding.
20 seconds in there.
Just 'cause you
I
said
talk
it.
so much
Time.
at work. I talk so much at everything. Anyways, when we first like talked about Colin, we were like thinking like bringing Colin in. I remember sitting down with Kiana and Josiah and just like the first thing that, like, one of the first things that we talked about, I was like,
You don't talk.
if Colin's gonna say,
Yeah, I'm joking.
I have to go to the restroom after this, so this is perfect. So y'all can say whatever you want
Oh.
after this.
We got a lot-
When
lot
we
of
sat
options.
down, I told him, like, as much as we, like, miss Brendan, our previous drummer, and as much as, like, he helped us to get to where we are, when Colin starts, we will not hold him to the standard of what Brendan was. Colin needs to be his own person. Colin needs to be his own musician. We need to reinvent ourselves around with Colin
Yeah.
Yeah.
as a part of our band, and that, like, that's what I left it at because
To a higher standard.
yeah, because our art is so, like, specific to the moment. You cannot try to revive and resuscitate moments that happened in the past.
Past.
because
Like,
you're just-
or repeat sounds
It's
and
fake.
like it's you can't do it.
It's inauthentic. It's
Yeah.
not fun. It's
That's
like
not who he is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I said. But
When we
I'm
first
gonna
reached
take my piece.
That was a
When
good
we-
point before you fucking headed out.
when we first reached out to Colin, well, when I first reached out to Colin, like,
Because we used to work together.
yeah, we used to work together. We were both instructors at School of Rock, and it's a little funny because, like, Colin and I we really didn't work on the same days.
We didn't work on the same days or like the same room. Either,
Yeah, and I
you
think
know?
I saw you like for like 10 minutes on a Thursday every other
Hi,
week.
Kiana.
Hi, and you're like, oh, your vocal studio's so good. Oh, cool, you're doing so good with your show.
That's
Like,
great. I gotta go.
That's great. Cool. So it's very brief, but Colin was always very nice, and it was always just in the back of my head after Brendan left. But we had this like weird thing of like, how soon is too soon to look for a new drummer? Like, obviously we love Brendan. It was great to work with him, but he wanted. Oregon was where he's meant to be, and he's very happy there. We're so happy for him. We were like, well, we still want to continue. And I remember at first I texted Colin and was like, hey, we might just be looking for a sit-in drummer, somebody who's going to learn our songs and play with us for the moment. Are you okay with that? And Colin, I really appreciate this, was very honest and was like, I want to make art. So, like, I don't know if that's for me. Thank you for reaching out, but, like, I really want to I want to be able to make art too. And so we didn't talk to him for a minute, and then we came back and I was like, we officially don't have a drummer. We would like somebody.
Should leave me on red.
on red.
I don't know if you read receipts, but I turned that shit off.
Always. There's
I'm
no
like-
need for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, at me, bro. But no, he was, and I remember coming back to him, I think it was like a month or so later, and being like, hey, we officially don't have a drummer. I'm sorry for all the confusion, but like, if you're still interested, we would still like to, try to jam and like try to see how we fit, and we are looking, to write new music, so you would get to write your own art. And I know that, like, obviously it's hard because it wasn't like a very long time after Brendan left, and I know even just I had a hard time. We were like, but I don't want to just jump into something else. It's hard to find our sound with a new person, and it can be hard. Like, what if
So we're
Colin
gonna agree with the
hates us.
sound and
What if-
everything
yeah.
else,
Or
and where you
what
guys
if
are trying
we
to go.
And you all three have to agree too, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure it's hard.
And we remember that Mario and I, we had a hard time with it, but I think just I had a harder time. I don't think it's bad, but I think he had like a different connection with
Which
everything.
I'm excited to hear his perspective.
Yes, and I also want to hear your perspective because I think jumping into it is also like a whole new thing. But once Colin started playing with us, I think we had a good vibe, and I think it was like a little awkward at first, and then Josiah, we actually were talking about this on the way here, where Josiah was like, it's hard to not like you, Colin. Like, we were literally just talking about that, and I think that like life happens as it does, and like things are just gonna fall into place or whatever. I mean, fate is not. I don't know. Whatever. But I think that we just did what we needed to find our sound, and everything gelled really well. And I even remember that there was one point when we recorded with Steve. I don't know if we told you this, maybe we did. I think at one point you were either in the drum room doing your shit, and we were all.
I mean, I was
out.
sleep deprived as shit, so I probably just
Even-
disappeared for a little bit.
I think you did. Maybe you were like out for a smoke or something. But Steve kind of looked at us and was like, "There's that lucky Colin." And we're like, "We know." And so I do feel that he was a great fit for everything that we were doing, and it's really incredible to do our work with him. And I'm glad that he jumped in with us because that is kind of scary to be like, this is a whole new band, and I'm glad that you love music enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna
Established
explore that
band
with
too,
you.
like
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there's
we
way
were,
shit going
in.
on.
yeah, and we were like, oh no, we would be like, not only do you have to learn the art that we've already created, but now we're gonna create new art together.
quick pause. Like, Steve loves you.
Yeah.
Steve was like, Brendan. Okay, Brendan was good, but Colin is just like on a clock.
It's just different. Yeah. Well, I've talked about that too, where I feel that you and Mario have a very good like matched energy. As much as I love singing, I don't think like I'm not as good as like sitting down routinely like writing music in the same way that Mario is, but I think that you guys match each other in that where you can like almost read each other's minds in the sense of like, I want to spend like 7 hours
Had
doing
the
this,
last
and I will.
practice when we finished that song.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious because we like started playing the first notes and we stopped. We're like, that's it.
Yeah, and so I think that there's like, once again, not that like, I think that Colin just had it's just different. It's just different, and I think that you were just like the piece of the puzzle that we didn't next.
Wow, how nice. This is like a wonderful podcast.
This
right now.
is great.
Somebody
you
grab
know?
the tissues.
God damn, you know what I mean?
Josiah.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it. Hit him with the fire. Let's go.
I don't like Colin at all.
I'm a real piece of shit.
That
You guys
is it.
haven't figured
I don't
this out.
know.
I've been building
I don't
up
know
fire.
what version of Colin they've seen, but
Motherfucker.
yeah, I think well,
He used to cut his
I
hair.
know.
The blues just not doing it for me.
I guess we could rewind like to even before we got Brendan as a drummer. I think the three of us have been playing for a while, and we played with like multiple like different people, and it was always like fun, but it was never like a good fit. Like we played with other drummers, other
It
guitarists,
wasn't
like,
always fun. Sometimes it was shitty.
and it was just
I
like
was the drummer. Yeah.
well, it's just like there's other people that we played with and kind of had that conversation of like, oh, are they going to be a good fit with the band? And I even like when it was just the three of us, and like nothing ever really clicked. And when we first played with Jessica, I feel like that first practice we instantly just kind of like things just kind of hit the ground running. And then fast forward a couple months or a year, whatever it is, and Brendan joins the band, and it's also just instantly like things just hit the ground running. And you just feel so lucky to be able to meet those people, like not just one but two people that just kind of click with you on that kind of artistic level, which I feel like you just don't get that in life a lot. So like just feeling very fortunate at that time. And when we were with Jessica and Brendan, I definitely felt like, oh, this is something that we have here and something that we could potentially take even further than what it is now. And when they both left, it was very hard for me because I felt like, I feel like we had something, and I had no resentment or hate towards them because I knew that they were moving on to the next chapter.
It was like right here.
Yeah,
You felt like
and it was like I'm not having any resentment towards them. I love them.
Yeah.
I'm glad they are where they are now because I feel like it's the direction that their life needed to take, and it's just like almost a feeling like it's like we had something, and I don't know if we're ever going to get that again. And
Yeah.
when they first suggested like let's play with Colin, I was very just hesitant, not because I never met Colin, but I also just hesitant to play with anybody in general, just because it was like, it's just like we had this spark. I feel like, and I don't know if we're gonna have that spark again. And and it's for whatever reason we got lucky and lightning strike 3 times, right? And it's Colin. The first practice we had, it's just I feel like instantly just kind of clicked in. He spent a lot of time learning the songs that we already had, and he kind of just grooved in right away. And it was a little surreal at first because like I was very resistant to just inviting anybody new into the band just because I felt like we had this thing, and to try to continue it just feels weird because it's never going to be the same. But that was all changed because I feel like just Colin was just such a natural fit into our sound. While he brought a new aspect to music, it still felt like he had a foot in the door of like what the original sound that we were chasing with the original members. So it was just like I don't know. Like I said, I just felt very fortunate that like out of all these people that have been in and out of the band, all of them like kind of slid in and had their own voice and kind of footing in the band. So I just feel very fortunate that we were able to find like someone like Colin, like where I was able to kind of come in at the time we needed to. And then ever since then, I think it's just been like just really good because I feel like the writing process that we had with Jessica and Brendan felt very natural and just very cohesive, and just kind of had a certain flow to it that felt really good. And Colin, I think, continued that with kind of like our writing style. So it just I don't know. I just feel like lucky that we've been able to kind of just make music in the way that we have. So.
And the funny thing on top of that too is that throughout all that, there'll be times like after practice, Colin stands up from the drums and he's just like, "I love you guys. Thank you for letting me play with you. Like genuinely, I'm having a lot of fun with this." And it was like,
And that's
Well,
what you
thank
have
you.
to have.
Thank you for helping us continue this art. And so I think it's also very nice that Colin is very vocal about like, thank you for letting me be here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, thank you for coming. And that's just very. I think that was also like a very nice like his overall attitude was like, I just want to make art with you guys, and that was.
I think in life that's all that matters. Like you have to surround yourself with the people that like love what they do. Because what I do, I love it. I love my job.
The podcast.
But also,
You don't love the podcast? I love the podcast.
I'll get a
I like my
replacement here,
job.
Chris.
Yeah.
The one that makes us money.
Yeah. But
Somebody,
like
you know, we got $200, you know, waiting
Hey, let's
at
go,
Facebook,
dog.
at Facebook coins, you know what I mean?
We got a bunch of Facebook posts.
I think we got like $28
No,
on
but-
DistroKid waiting for us.
So like,
You got
like-
a blue tongue. Sorry.
You look like a lizard.
So,
He's a lizard person.
do you guys feel like every time you've added someone new, you've grown or had to replace somebody? It has.
They've gotten lucky. They
But-
haven't had a bad
Well,
applicant.
But no, do you feel like it's forced you to grow? Like
Yes.
you've had
Yeah.
to change and
You always
adapt to the new person, or
Obviously, whenever a new person comes in, your sound's going to adapt and change. But I feel like we've been able to maintain that identity throughout it. And like I said, we played with like a lot of different people, and not all of them were like a good fit. But I didn't feel like with Jessica, Brendan, and Colin, like I feel like for whatever reason, all of them just slid in really well to our kind of writing style. So
I wouldn't even say adapt. It's we grow around them.
Yeah.
mhm.
okay.
Like, yeah, but when Colin came in, like one of the things that Steve said, and it's always stuck in my head. And I know we say the name Steve a lot. Like Steve was a
Steve.
Who the fuck is Steve?
I want to see the fucking picture.
Steve Avedis has produced and worked with us on all 3 EPs. Like we made sure that he like he's walked through us, walked with us on all three projects. And one of the things that stuck with me when Steve, like when we talked about it and we were like mastering and like finishing and mixing and everything, right? Like we're in the final stages of like the last EP, right? The which like the one that just most came out, Palo, which means butterfly in Nahuatl, which is the native language of like Mexico and
Ooh, let's
Central
go.
America.
Tangent, but
Tangent. But anyways,
Well, all
when-
native languages are based off of.
Yeah. So we were like,
Indigenous language.
we're like talking, and he's like, "You sound so much more aggressive and in your face, and it feels like your drums have a lot to do with that." And I feel that energy shift. Like like I said earlier, I believe a band should always look to grow as a unit. You try to explore new landscapes, new ideas, new thoughts.
You could create the.
It doesn't have to all
You
be
could create the next theme that you just
Yeah.
never know. Like you don't know. Like
Yeah.
you,
But
the-
it's
the
I feel like
newest genre that like no one ever thought of because
Yeah,
it
but
always
I-
gets created every
feel
year. Something gets created.
Sound of the people, man.
But I feel like that's that's one of the responsibilities you take on as an artist, like as a music artist, is like you can't be afraid of like trying new things. And so when I hear artists like consistently stick to the one thing because they're like, oh, this is a guaranteed like money maker. This is I'm gonna get on the radio. Like this is what people liked. I get so disappointed. Like and that and
When you
that-
hear like
You
an
know
old
like the
band,
Malibu
they have that.
album?
When you hear an old band and they have that same sound, like
yeah, 15 years later, you're like,
but
what?
the song, like the lyrics, it just doesn't hit you the same. Like the
Yeah.
emotion doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's
feel
not
like.
the same.
Like
It
grow.
just feels like
You're obviously you've obviously grown as a person.
Well, I mean,
Why are you singing about the same things that you sang about 15 years ago?
Yeah.
we talk
Grow.
about them a lot.
Grow.
Like Paramore.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen generations of Paramore. You know, like Paramore's my first concert ever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh, I
shit.
didn't know that.
And like, look at their shit nowadays. Like they're a different band, but they're still fucking good.
my boss just took his
Can we-
kids
can
to a
we
Paramore concert.
Can we stop
I
recording?
was like, fucking, that's
First
awesome.
concert.
First concert I ever went to, I went to Band's Warped Tour.
Ooh,
So I had a shit ton of shows that I walked to.
favorite band
Favorite band at that point in time was
at that show. Favorite band at that show.
they were called Middle Class Rut. They're not popular anymore. They had like one like they were definitely like a one hit
It's
wonder.
like-
Exactly.
it's like
I think
MCR,
Hey, you're
but
deep
it's
in
still
India.
MCR.
You're deep in India, Mario.
Oh, do you guys like rid
You're
of
deep in
Van
India.
Fleet?
Yeah.
We did.
Alright.
Their
We
first
loved
album,
Greta Van Fleet's first album.
and then everything
First
else
EP.
was like.
And then they got popular.
Wait,
Ooh,
but
I'm more of
No,
a Greta
that's not it.
Thunberg kind of person.
Protect the environment, right? Anyways,
Hey, you know, Green Party.
Middle Class Rut, super indie. They were definitely a one-hit wonder. The way the industry treated them, I loved their sound at that point in time, and I went and saw them, and that they were like the highlight of that year that I went to.
Okay.
Like for a first concert to go to Vans Warped Tour, where you have like 100+ shows happening in the span of one day. My parents didn't know what they dropped me off at. They're like, drop me off, and they're like, okay, have fun. We'll be back at this time. And meanwhile, I'm just like wandering
Yeah.
out in the
You went
parking lot of
alone?
Invesco Field. Like,
Alone?
what? Like, yeah,
Friends?
alone.
What the fuck, dude?
Alone.
Dude, that's what
That's
happened,
crazy.
dude.
Just
They-
You're a badass for going alone,
Yeah.
not fucking young.
I didn't
Friends
know.
nuts, dude.
I didn't know.
Nuts.
I didn't know it was that big of a festival.
Yeah.
And so when I
That
showed
you
up, I was
needed a
like,
buddy? You always need a buddy.
oh my god, yes. One of the best highlights though at that moment was that like they gave you like a fucking scan code where you could download a collection of songs from all the artists on the
Yeah, I
Vans
remember
Warped
that
Tour
shit.
off
You guys are
of the
fucking
iTunes
iTunes,
store.
Oh
dude.
shit.
So you like get a
Calvin, when the fuck
collection
did we
of
scan
songs.
anything as kids?
Oh my god.
You did it. You had to call in,
It's a,
dial up. You know what I mean?
With the rotary phone?
Yeah, that's you know what I mean.
So-
You hoped you got through. You know what I mean?
Call your operator.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that was my
dude.
first show, Vans Warped Tour.
Oh, so yes, you're next.
I don't even know. I feel like
How do you not know your first concert?
Was it your show?
no. I think I feel like the first show that one of the early shows I can remember is going to see a band with Highly Suspect with Ken and Mar actually. We've seen them like a couple of times, but the first time we saw them I think was one of like the first shows I think we went to.
Who was it?
Highly Suspect.
That's why he's not forgetting.
Yeah, I know, he's
remembering
like-
it.
That shit.
It didn't
Talk
happen.
your
I
shit,
know,
Josiah.
we
Talk
talk
your
about
shit.
it.
We're at-
Talk your shit.
About what? Highly Suspect.
About Highly Suspect.
I really like they're a really good band. The first album is really good. The last album not very good.
There's
I'll
a
leave it
story
at that.
around
But
that
yeah,
album.
but,
Where'd you
You
see
put a
him?
pin in that.
It was at like
We've seen them 3 times.
was it
We
was
do
it
have a
Bluebird?
story.
But
We
we'll
do
put
have,
a pin
yeah,
there.
it was Bluebird.
Because before we go on a tangent, I just don't want to hear Colin's take
Yes.
on
Before we go to the Highly Suspect story, yes.
Finish your
Colin.
story.
I'm sorry,
Does
Josiah.
everyone
highly
have
suspect
ADHD?
story.
It was just
Everyone
me.
here.
Does everyone have ADHD?
Yes.
It's not just you.
It's not just you.
I've been biting my
Colin,
tongue.
first-
I didn't
oh,
wait
sorry.
to
No, I
check.
already said Highly Suspect. I'm pretty
Oh.
sure. Yeah.
Colin.
First concert.
Oh yeah, Paramore was at my first concert. My first concert was the 93.3 Big Gig.
Oh,
yes.
big gig, nice.
I
Why
want
did
to
I accidentally
say
both?
it was 2008. I want to say summer 2008.
Big gig's shit now.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No lies. No lies.
No
Just
lies.
like local artists, just like-
But it was some band that I really liked at the time that I don't remember. I had their hoodie and I lost it that summer. And I was pretty
Rise
upset.
Against.
Dude, I would have remembered. I loved Rise Against back
Dude,
then.
save
I
that.
remember
That shit.
Yeah.
Not Rage
Boob
Against.
steak!
Who was that?
Dude, 07, they were fire.
Dude, that song I played, it was #1 for at least 16 weeks.
Anyways,
Sorry.
I could be full of shit. This could
Sorry.
be totally full of shit. You can look me up. I might have been Skyfox. Skyfox was like big at the time. But the tour I do remember was Dropkick Murphys.
Ooh, Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, dude,
That's
Dropkick.
old school there.
Whoa, wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's
And then
wild.
and then
Wait,
That was like a fighting song.
Yeah.
That's a fighting song right
Dude,
there.
dude.
Were you just drinking
You want,
Jameson or what?
you want me to get in some shit? Like,
Yeah.
my friend who bought us tickets, that was the only reason I went. I don't know where he got them. He was like 8th grade. Bought like 5 tickets to Big Gig.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I was just like, cool. You
J-Mo.
bought me a ticket. I'm like, yeah.
Picklebacks and everything. You know what I mean?
He disappears for the entire show. He's obsessed with like Dropkick Murphys, and then he comes back just like bloodied up. He spent the entire time in the pit, just bloodied up.
Spend
And
all
I
this
was like-
welfare money on tickets.
Yeah, and I was freaked out. I was freaked out, and I was like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay? Not thinking at all. Like, obviously, if you got a wound, don't touch it. But like, he just had this like gush of blood on his shoulder. I was just like, dude, are you okay? And I wiped it off. There's no wound. It was somebody else's.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was just like,
Just cleaning him.
yeah.
What if it was some girl's period blood?
Dude, fuck you.
Oh,
But
God.
yeah,
Have you not seen
So were you dancing with that
Superbad?
girl in the other room?
No, you haven't seen Superbad. Never mind.
You've never seen Superbad?
I think I've seen it like a long time ago.
Context.
Oh, yes,
Context.
you've never
Think
seen
of the context.
Superbad.
Oh my god.
He's
For
old.
later. Oh my
Calvin.
god.
Ah! He's never seen Superbad.
I seen it like years ago. I don't
I've seen it
remember.
7 times.
What?
In the last week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, the part where they're talking and they're in the parking lot outside the liquor store, all right? And they're talking about trying to
Tell me,
find
this
someone
is
to buy him
funny.
liquor,
I know, right?
and that dude
Dude.
gets hit in the reverse. He gets hit. Seth gets hit in reverse, and
Oh
he
my
fucking
God.
he skips. Oh man, that
shit
shit'll make me.
You spilled it.
No, my favorite part is that
That's the
scene.
flooring. It's part of the flooring.
My favorite part is that scene, but he's like, I got $7. He's like, what are you, 13?
Dude, when he skips, when they hit him with the car, he doesn't fall down. He skips like 3 times and then he falls. I love people falling. I could watch a video of people falling all fucking night long. And I'll just,
Kids, I
I'll
watch
die.
kids fall off bikes all day.
Kids.
I watch kids
Have
fall off
you-
bikes.
Oh,
all day.
bikes?
Have you
That's
ever seen-
me!
No, it's
What
Have
were
y'all
we
seen
talking?
that?
Hey, everybody! We all have ADHD here. What were we talking about before?
No.
No,
we're
okay,
normal.
pause.
First show. First show.
No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
no.
seriously.
Dropkick Murphys played.
Yes. Okay.
Somebody got blooded
Let's
up.
finish. Sorry.
And then I saw Paramore.
Wow,
That's the
we were
end of
about
my
to
Wait,
story.
wait,
No.
hold on, hold on.
No.
Your
No.
AD's gone.
Wait, hold on, pause.
Sorry, it's your
No, wait,
podcast. Go
I
ahead.
don't even care about my first concert. The whole tangent was that we were talking about having Colin in the band, and we didn't get to hear Colin's perspective.
God
Yeah,
damn
we
it.
didn't.
God.
Join the
Okay,
band.
alright,
Back
let's
we're
finish the
going.
first
Yeah.
tangent.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
yeah.
it was a Christian concert. Family
Fuck your
First
Christian
Five.
concert.
David,
What's the first good concert?
No, that was like okay.
First good concert.
Good concert.
She said the same one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was
After
a good
concert,
That
for
was
the
fire.
fire.
Fired.
I will say it was probably. I mean, honestly, it was probably highly suspect. Only for the fact. Real quick story. Johnny Stevens. I was in the front, and something like I don't know if it was like the buzz
Who?
that day or what. Johnny Stevens.
The lead singer for Highly Suspect.
Eyed me
Stop
in
yelling at
the
me.
crowd. I was standing up in the front. He eyed me
I
in
thought
the
she was talking
crowd.
about someone from high school.
No. So he's eyed me in the crowd, and then while he was like, they were doing some other bullshit of like just like jamming. He comes up to me. He's like, "Who are you here with?" And I was like, "With these two, because I was with Josiah and Mario." He's like, "Here's backstage passes. Come see me after."
God damn.
Yeah, and so after that, we like actually met with
Oh,
him. We have a picture with him, and he gave us his number, all his bullshit. He's like, "Chill here. We're gonna go hang out on our tour bus in a second, but wait here, and I will come for you guys. Like, I'm gonna go do some other shit, and you can come hang out with us." And we waited for like 10 or so minutes, and Mario's like, "This is bullshit. Like, he's lying to us. We should leave." And I was like, "That's fine." Just and I were like, "Let's give us some time." He actually took us on his tour bus, and we got to like not only see like the music video for a new song that hadn't come out yet, and the music video hadn't come out yet, but he gave us we had this whole conversation about music and how he was like, "Don't stop, like you guys, you got this." I think we even showed him like
Josiah showed him the song.
FF1
Yo,
to the E-line.
Josiah showed him FF1.
Yeah.
The very
Really?
first original version of
Yeah, it's very
FF1.
different. And he's like, "This is you guys." He's like, "Don't stop." Like,
That's
literally.
so sweet.
And that is
That's
why we
crazy.
kept playing. That is why we kept playing. So that's the best concert I've ever been to, only for the fact that, like, that's why we kept playing. It was because Johnny Stevens literally sat us down in his tour bus and was like, "Fucking don't stop."
They got me blasted. They got me high. Not only were they feeding us like beers,
Yeah.
but at a certain point they pulled out a joint, and I was like, I expected them to have weed because they were in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
And so I took a hit. I was faded off my ass. So at a certain point, I was just struggling. Like everything in my
You're
willpower.
surviving.
I
You're
was just
surviving.
surviving.
I
Just
was
trying
the
to survive. You're
solo one.
like,
we, were,
"Ah."
we were there till like.
You gotta breathe, then we gotta exhale, and inhale, then we gotta swallow
like,
afterwards.
just step by step.
That's the worst.
We were there till
I
like
hate that
literally
I love
3
it.
or 4. I don't even know. It was
He
like.
loves it.
We were there till like 4 or 5 in the morning. I was a sober one. I drove us back, and we had dropped Mario off, and then
In
we went back
Boulder.
in
We had
Boulder.
to go from Denver to Boulder
Yeah.
to drop me off.
And then I went to drop Mario off, and then we went to Josiah's dorm, and then him and I like both crashed because we were so fucking tired. It was like 5 in the morning by the time we got
the
there.
dorms, man. This is
Well,
great,
because this is
man.
when he was like still living in his dorm,
Yeah,
and his
that was
roommate wasn't
great.
there.
Hey, you guys
I
meeting
love
at
you.
Dark Horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we've never told you this
No,
story.
Hey, you guys meeting at
Yeah.
Dark Horse, right?
Huh?
Dark Horse?
No, we've
I,
not.
I've been, I love Dark Horse.
Yeah.
The wings are good! Number
Okay.
2 in Colorado!
We played there for school.
I
as
played
well,
some
but
number
they're
2 in
super
Colorado.
hard.
Behind
I
what?
tried to book
Weak
us
Shack.
at some point, and they just
Yeah. What's
it,
You haven't had it.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
What the fuck you have, mild?
No. What the fuck is wrong with you?
If you
Oh
have
my
mild,
God.
that's how, you know.
Bro,
Oh, yeah, no.
you're talking a full-blooded Mexican right here. Why
Okay.
would I have
Full-blooded.
mild?
Did you go to the
He's
Bear Hawk?
Why would I have mild?
Bear Hawk.
Full-
Hotter
full-blooded
is so
man.
good. The hotter is...
Anyways, but that was
Sorry.
like no, you're good. But that was like
Tangent
that was,
again. There's
tangent
another
again.
one.
It's
That's
okay.
another tangent.
That was the best concert I've ever been to, solely for the fact that like that. I mean, not I we didn't have Jessica at that point, and we were like,
Did
what
it?
are we like? We were literally just like fucking around in the basement with music. Like it doesn't really matter. And then
As a hobby.
yeah, it was like a hobby. And then Johnny was like, no, you guys are good. Keep doing this.
That's fucking
And so
crazy.
that's why we did this shit. So that's the best concert ever, only
got-
for that fact.
We got pictures with him and everything, but like that shit stuck in our heads.
Yeah.
At least in my head, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm obviously it sounds like in Kiana's head, and I'm assuming Josiah's head too. But like that idea of like, because one of the main things I asked, so like in music, you constantly think like people know like all the theory and like the
Yeah,
actual
right.
educational things behind
Yeah.
music.
They have
so-
time and everything
Yes.
behind it.
Yeah.
Like notes, like
Music
what's the name of
theory.
this notes? What's this music thing? What's this progression? So I straight up asked Johnny on the tour bus. I was like, "Do you know music theory? Like, do you know what notes you're playing? What you're doing?"
Yeah.
This motherfucker looked me straight in the face. And was like, "Nah." I kind of like figured it out. Like after a while, like I watched videos, and then after that, I was like, "I can do this on my own."
Well, that was like something you were kind of self-conscious about.
And I was-
Fine.
And like to a certain extent, I still am, but like enough, like I made sure that that was not a barrier to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know what chords, what progression, what style. Like I just know.
And you can't though.
No, well you,
You
can.
can,
You
but
gotta
like,
figure it out for
can.
yourself, though, kind of, right?
Yes,
You gotta-
but you got to figure it out for yourself. At a certain point, it got to a point where I was like, I don't care what progression it is or what like music theory bullshit this is. This is how I feel. This is what I'm playing. This is what feels good, and this is what's gonna go on there. And that's how these songs got written.
Mhm.
And it was thanks to Johnny Stevens being like, I don't fucking know what the fuck I'm playing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And sometimes it doesn't feel real, and it was like it was like something we'll never forget. Like it genuinely, like I said, it's the reason that we still play music today, and it all started with like the fact that he maybe wanted to sleep with me. Maybe I should have done it. Mario and I
That's
have this
the-
conversation
honestly,
all the time.
You guys are
We
telling
had
the
this
story.
conversation.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was
No.
like,
I had a
he,
boyfriend.
No, he,
dude,
yeah.
Yeah.
the security guards got scouts, man. As soon as they see someone in those front rows, like, oh, go
No,
get her.
it was
Bang.
Johnny. No, Johnny himself saw me, and he was the one who like pointed me out. And I was like closer to the stage, and it was funny because like, well, not funny, but I had a boyfriend at the time, and so even like Johnny,
It
like
wasn't Mario.
when he was taking
It was
pictures,
not
it was
me.
not Mario. We were
It was
taking a
not
picture
me.
with Johnny. He's like, "Oh, are these like one of these guys your boy?" And I was like, "Oh
So
no,
Johnny-
my boy's in Fort
So
Collins."
Mario was like, hell yeah.
At
You know
the
what I
time,
mean?
I was like,
Get us with the back
She's
of
like,
the
hey, hold up.
glasses.
She's like, no. And Mario's like, yes. She
Yeah,
is.
no.
Yes.
We are. One of us are her boy.
He asked me that, and I was like, "Oh no, my boyfriend's in Fort Collins, blah blah." But he didn't even try to sleep with me at that point. He was just like, "Whatever." But he still invited us
I'll be
on
back.
the bus. I'll be back. But no, Mario and I always joke. Even like after, even like to the point, Mario's like, "You should have slept with him, dude. Like you should," because my boyfriend like almost broke up with me because I was like, "This is the greatest night," and he's all like, he was convinced that I cheated on him, and so he like went through this whole thing, and I was like sobbing the next day.
Might as well make it worth it.
Well,
Yeah,
you're
I
dead
know.
here,
I
dude.
literally, I was like, at that fucking point, you fucking got He argued with me for hours. He argued
that's
with me.
not me. But now in the context, if it was
That's-
me, I'm like, oh my
That's
god.
Calvin's.
No,
That's Calvin's thought right there. You know what I mean? If you're gonna
Only
get fired, so you might as well make it a good
Only
fight.
because he was so shitty about it, where he literally like made me cry about like one of the best nights, like most inspirational nights of my life. Because he's like, "What am I supposed to think about those fucking text messages?" And then my phone died at one point, and I texted him from Mario's phone to be like, "Hey, just want to let you know I'm still out."
Very suspect.
Yeah, and he was like,
Sus-
"What was I supposed
Highly
to?"
suspect, some might say.
I know.
This guy- This guy was a mastermind from the fucking beginning. Here, take my phone.
And then I like texted
He's
him.
a whole lot. Do your cord on your phone. Kill his battery.
No, hold on. And he was asking me like, "How did the night go?" or whatever. And I was like, "This is one of the best nights of my life."
Mastermind right here. Look at him.
And
This guy's a mastermind.
he
Look
just
at him.
continued to
I
do it.
played the long game.
And it was,
Yeah, I know.
fun.
Best game to play.
But I like texted him like, "Oh my god, this is the best night of my life," and he's like, "How the fuck am I supposed to feel about that text message? Like it made me think that you slept with him and all this bullshit." And he like, literally, it was one of the worst fights I've ever had with a partner. And like, years later, I was like, "Fuck, man, I should have just fucking maybe I should have
Bro,
fucking
now-
cheated on you."
Now
so
we fight
convinced.
about laundry and fucking doing the dishes and
Yeah.
vacuuming.
And you won't let her on any buses, huh?
I don't have to be there.
It's like that joke. Mario's like have you seen that TikTok where the guy's like, it's like his girlfriend comes up to him and he's like, "Yeah, that guy just bought me a drink." He's like, "Oh,
Did he give you
go
one?
talk to him again. I want a long.
Yeah, I want to
Get
get
another one.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
Like, hey, get some free drinks.
I'll be fighting fucking.
Hey,
Alright.
I'm gonna just say this:
I got
insecurity.
issues.
Insecurity is gross.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be confident in yourself. Be confident
Yes.
in your partnerships, in your relationships, in your
Yes.
friendships.
But
Say it to the camera.
That is.
Look at the camera and say it.
I'm the most-
Insecurity is gross.
It
I'm
is.
the most confident motherfucker you'll see, but someone
I
starts
can
buying my
only-
girl a drink.
Go ahead, dog.
In this
Buy another one.
Buy me a drink. But no, I think that it's also funny because that's a recurring joke with Mario and I. Sometimes we're just sitting in the car talking about stuff, and he's like, "You should have slept with them, bro." Like we'll just be in the just driving down the road, and so
I'll even
Right,
be
right, right.
bullshitting. I'll be like, I could have said I'm like dating someone that slept with Johnny Stevens.
yeah.
That's my favorite band. You should have.
Fuck. So there's always a part of me that was like, "Fuck." It was a shitty relationship. We broke up shortly after, and he was so fucking shitty about it and like so fucking terrible. I was like, maybe I should have fucking. He was so convinced, anyways. I should have just
So
fucking
what you're
done
saying?
it.
You had a bad taste in men in your younger days.
Oh yeah.
Horrible.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Mario has
horrible.
down on
a
notebook.
But I'm no saint. I had just as bad a taste in my partners, if not worse, than Kiana did.
We have met each other's exes. Like we
You gotta
broke
ladder
with
up for the 10, huh? She had to go through those bad guys to.
Same. I
Good to
mean,
you,
we met.
She got to a point I was like, okay, I think we can date now.
Yeah. Oh fuck you, bitch. No, because we got this bitch. We met all of each other's exes, and there was one point where Mario was dating his ex before me, and we're in the car and we're talking about
Who's ex?
Mario's ex, and we're talking
Your
about
ex or Mario's ex?
No, his ex, Mario's ex.
So he was dating.
He was
Someone
dating a
else.
different girl. He
A
was dating
female,
someone else.
most likely.
Yeah. He was
Wasn't it a
dating.
guy?
I said most likely.
Well, he was dating another female at this point, and we were like, I think we were like going to the gym or whatever, because we were hanging out all the time. He's like, yeah, no, I think she's the one.
Oof.
I think she's the one. And then,
Wowzers.
the best part about
That's
that.
gonna be hard, Mario. You can't like
Oh.
reverse.
Those
You can't
Latinos,
reverse
Latinos,
that.
man,
You
got
can't
Cardi B
reverse
with
that.
Latinos,
Bro, all I date is Latina.
Yeah,
Hey,
I know.
That's why you gotta
I
trick
was
'em.
like, I'm not even Mario's type. I don't speak
You can't flip it and reverse it,
Spanish,
bro, with that one. You know what I mean?
But I did. I did the impossible, so.
magician.
But yeah, so anyways, yeah, that's my favorite
Quick ends.
concert. That's my first concert, or my first.
No, it doesn't even.
Wowzers! What a tangent! That was the
Anyways.
first concert.
Anyways.
That was a
yeah,
crazy
that's
first
your
concert.
Yeah.
So, Colin, when you came in,
We lost all the flow.
Yeah.
We went from all this
Hey.
wholesome to this debauchery.
Nah,
Hey,
nah,
you can
nah,
clip
nah.
this. You can.
It's called
you
chismoso.
can clip it.
I'm the clip
How
king,
did you
man.
say me?
The
I
cheese
don't
man.
know. It's a
Yes,
great
yes,
story.
yes.
That's
Honestly.
Chris, like, that story didn't go like that. I'm like, I'm the fucking clip king, man.
Well, I also think it's
I'll
funny
cut
that
whatever I need out.
That on this podcast, because Colin was like, I've never heard that story before. And it's like, oh, really? I guess we never.
I'm digging in.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, I'm listening too, because I didn't realize we've never told.
We were silent for a while.
Bro, we
I-
Not
actually-
you, not you, but like I was
Actually,
like this couch was pretty silent. Chris chimes in every
Which couch?
minute, 90 seconds.
Which couch?
This couch is quiet.
Mario,
Knock,
don't start
knock.
with me. That couch ain't silent with you sitting on there, boy.
I
He waits
probably
his
should have
turn.
sat next to you.
oh my god. Anyways,
That'd
whatever
be
we were
wild,
talking
you
about
sit next to me.
before.
Alright,
Whatever it was we
So,
were talking
Colin,
about.
how did you feel coming in to this group?
He's like, okay, no.
there we go.
Like-
finally.
They're all kind of apprehensive, kind of
People
trying to make
ask
sure
us
you.
this on all the podcasts, and Colin's usually very quiet, but we've never heard your side.
Yeah.
We're forcing it.
You know, I kind of gave up on music for a year, and then got really into EDM for a while, and then got into somehow like studying jazz through a youth group kind of thing. It was like older youth group, like high school-ish, called CCJA. And through that, I met a guy named Paul Romaine. He ended up being my drum instructor for like 4 years throughout like high school and a little bit of junior high, so 5 years.
Hold up, is this all local? Like,
Yeah.
where did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in like Littleton.
Okay.
So then, flash forward to getting ready for college. I really was thinking about doing the Berklee College of Music. I did the Berklee 5-week, and it just wasn't my vibe whatsoever. I really wanted to go in there for like recording and production, but it was, to be completely honest, very close-minded, and basically if you're not like,
Up tier.
you know, well, no, it's if your mom's not a doctor and if your dad's not a lawyer,
You gotta know somebody who knows somebody.
you're gonna make everybody broke in your family. Like we did the math and it was like, this is gonna bankrupt my family if I go to work. And I was just like, I'm gonna go to a state school. I'm gonna go to a state school. So I ended up going to CU. I got in for jazz drums, and through that, because they didn't have at the time like a production and recording major. So, and I wanted to play rock. I wanted to study pop music, but they had classical and they had jazz.
Yep.
And if you're gonna do one or the other, I'm gonna fucking do jazz.
Yeah.
So I got my degree in jazz. I was in and out. I did do 1 year
I'm
in.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do they offer that not like different genres? Or
Unless it's, like,
not
Berkeley.
really.
it's still
Yeah.
the same. It's the same
Berkeley
thing.
kind of does, but it's same. You can't do like jazz and rock. You have to- you're a rock boy or a jazz.
Same thing
boy.
with vocals. Your opera or your theater.
It's so,
What is
that's
that?
so stupid.
Don't
very-
get me started on academia. my
Oh,
guy.
God,
Don't get me fucking started.
Oh, yeah.
That's just restriction on like
Yeah.
being who you could be. Like
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, it's like the same thing with vocals, where it's like you get
Higher
opera
ed
or theater,
sucks.
and
Yeah.
even then
Huh?
like jazz is an
Higher
option
education,
if you
so
maybe
college
get
level
vocals, but
education.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
it's very weird.
Is
But-
its
Anyway,
own thing.
long story short. I went through too many
too.
years of college. It took me 7 years to get my bachelor's because I was in and out. And then I immediately, like, I had like 10 days between my graduation day and starting to teach at School of Rock. And then I taught at School of Rock for about slightly less than 3 years. And through teaching at School of Rock, to be completely honest, not the best job I've ever had in my life. But it allowed me, through teaching, to kind of rediscover all of the rock music and all of the drumming that really got me into drumming through reteaching it. And it was really nice because, like, it wasn't like, oh, you're going to teach this Green Day song. Oh, I got to study it. It was like, I hear it. I was like, dude, I fucking remember that whole song. I remember the verse, the chorus, the bridge. I know these songs. Oh, this Nirvana song. Oh, I know all of these songs. So, like, through that, it was, like, kind of like a reinvigorating of me as, like, a rock drummer. And then you hit me up at, like, the perfect time, which I was, like, I'd been teaching for roughly 2 years at that point. And you're like, you know, let me know if you're interested. Here's our Spotify. Here's what we got going on. No pressure. And I, like, listened to it, and I was like, not only can I tell this drummer studied jazz, but also he has a passion for, like, not just rock, but, like, cool rock, like post-rock, post-hardcore, a little more zhuzh to it, for lack of a better term. And I was like, I think our vocabulary as drummers kind of matches up pretty well. I think me as a new member would fit really well. I would be able to be a very true version of me within this project, so I don't feel like I'm phoning it in by joining something. Because I've been in bands for 2-3 months where it's just like, frankly, I just gotta pay the bills. You know, like, I'm gonna play these. I'm gonna play.
play the beat.
Yeah, I'll play the beat. I'll play your fucking taco festival because I need like $200 to pay my rent.
To be joking about taco festivals,
don't
dude,
need to-
'cause
taco-
fucking
dude,
taco festivals
tacos-
slap,
tacos-
bro.
Yeah, tacos are great. Taco
That's
festivals,
just, yeah, I'm joking.
not so
I'm just
great.
joking.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Playing,
Taco
on the
Fest
ba-
is a
playing the
different kind of taco
bandstand
fest than I've been
and
to.
Anyway,
Colin, we're just giving you shit, bro. We're giving you shit through the pressure. We're good. We're good.
If you're that band, I'm sorry. It wasn't a good time.
I'm just trying to be really well. Continue.
Anyway, so like, yeah, it just like it fit with my vibe super well. I, you know, being like an academic boy, like spent like solid like month to 6 weeks just like writing down form charts to all the songs, how long the chorus is, how long the verses are, where the fills come in, what kind of fills, all that kind of shit. So like, I mean, the first like 3 or 4 gigs we played, first like month or 2, I had like a goddamn music stand.
Yeah.
If you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Which we thought that's like also like dedication. You literally
Yeah.
came,
I
like,
cared, but I also
yeah.
felt like a dork, you know.
Oh,
No, we loved it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was finally like, I don't know, 6 months in where I was just like, I know these songs, I can play them with my eyes closed, you know, shit like that. And then we started writing our own material, and that first EP just kind of just happened. Like, at least in hindsight, it kind of feels like a blink of the eye, doesn't it? Like right now, it feels like we're going through the writing process of our new EP, and it really feels like we're being like deliberate and taking our time. Like we've been in the shit for like 6 to 8 months, whereas that first EP, it feels like it just happened. You know, So I don't know. It's been like the initial process felt like very deliberate, very pensive, very thought over, and honestly, since as soon as we like hit the ground running, it's just like cool. I'm part of the band. We're a unit, and this works. We gotta, pivot a little bit here and there to make sure everybody's happy and make sure
This
we're
guy
like,
got moves, see?
You got dancing
Boy,
stuff,
you got that
dog.
move, boy. I see it in the shoulders. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I
Yeah,
have
but,
ADHD very bad, but I just see it. Like, you know what I mean? I gotta say it when I see it.
Like I
When he
think,
sees good moves, he gets to
Yeah, I
say
gotta
something.
say it. You know what I mean? This is.
I think especially the way that
Some
like
blood.
Mario and I write is just like you get an idea and you run forward. But I think one thing that I've learned, especially in the last 6 months to a year, is like, yeah, it's really cool to have that momentum and that idea to move forward as fast as you can. But you gotta you can't leave people behind. You gotta make sure, are we all happy? Is this a cohesive idea? Does this
Meticulous.
work?
Yeah.
Is this a my song? Is this a Mario song? Is this a Just Us song? Or is this a fucking Immigrant's trance song?
Yeah.
And that has been such a big learning process and such an important learning process. And as like a recording engineer / producer / songwriter, that is so important. You gotta make everybody happy, because if you only make a couple people happy, it ain't gonna work.
And that's been I want to support that and echo that like that's just such a challenge of like, because like Colin said,
Everybody love everybody.
we can run on a single idea and we'll run that shit to the ground and we'll like write it out as best as we can, right? And we did that. Does it fit us and does it
Is it
fit?
an Immigrant's
Yeah,
trance
is it
song?
us as a whole? Is everyone
Maybe
content
not.
or comfortable with what we've
So
written?
let's take a step back.
And that just wasn't the case. And so we recently had like a conversation where we talked about it. Like, we cannot write the way we've written in the past, and we need to be mindful and make sure that what we are presenting to people is a complete image of us as a whole,
And everybody's voice is heard.
Yeah.
not an image of 2 members or 1 member
Yeah.
or 3 members. It needs
Yeah,
to be
it's
all
gotta be
4.
all
It's a hard balance, right?
Yeah.
It's a super hard balance.
Super
and like,
balanced.
There's no balance. Yeah, everyone has to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all, everyone has to represent the band
As a whole.
as a whole. Because if you have one guy miss it, you know what I mean, and have some guy step in, the band's not gonna be represented that
Yeah.
way.
And like there's sometimes that hard part where it's like we had that like that's part of why we had the hard conversation of like the half of us don't like the song.
Yeah,
Like,
we've
we're gonna switch
we've scrapped songs that were like fully written and because they just don't feel right. Like as much.
Your heart's on in it.
We could be the biggest fans, like individuals could be the biggest fans of those songs, but if it doesn't feel right as a whole,
It's
it's
not
not
gonna
worth
work
it.
out.
Yeah, because it
And
was
that-
only half of us that did. Like, there's, for example, like there was one song that like half of us didn't like it, half of us did,
Yeah.
and like, but it was a thing of like, no, like if we don't all love it, we're not
There's
doing
not
it.
everybody.
But
I don't
it
care.
takes that
Yeah.
selflessness and that attitude of being like,
It was sucked at the time. I'll say that.
No,
I'll
I
say
know,
that.
I
It
felt
sucked at the
bad.
time.
as
I
much
felt
as
bad.
I respect it.
as much as we love this and as much as this is like cool to play and whatnot,
Yeah.
but like, I will not feel complete. I will not feel satisfied with this if I know in the back of my head that we, all 4 of us, don't enjoy this or love this.
And that's part of the constructive criticism and the trust within each other to be like, hey,
I don't know. It's not. It's not. I don't think it's the trust. It's the push.
yeah, but I feel
Like
there's the trust within that push of being like, I
Yeah.
trust that you're being honest with me. Like, I trust
Right.
you as a person, and I know that like you're not just some stranger being an asshole. You're literally like, hey,
You're not giving your full effort.
yeah, you're like,
Shaker's
I,
like, quit being late. I'm like, I'm always late. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I'm trying.
exactly.
You saw my candy too. You're a leprechaun.
No, he's
You eat all my candy. Don't lie.
he brags to people. He's like, oh, Calvin eats all this candy. He says it in a good manner, in a good light,
Yes.
and then now he's trying to fucking make it up.
make it thing. But
I will
yeah,
eat no more fucking candy. I don't need your fucking candy. I don't need your fucking candy.
But that trust in each other that you're like, I love this art. I love what we're creating enough together to be like, hey, I love this art and I love what we're creating together enough to speak up and communicate about it. And I feel like if we did communicate it and say, I don't really like this or I
That's
like
gotta be
that.
hard. That's gotta be like, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
There's a bad word for it, but like it's like the most committed polyamorous
I was
relationship.
thinking the same thing in my head, but I was like,
Because
I can't
everyone's
say it
gotta
that
love
way.
everybody. Love everybody. Like Ricky Boo. You know what I mean? Everybody love everybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's a monogamous 4-part polyamory.
I feel that's pretty accurate
Yeah.
because like like leading up to like asking you to hop on, like Kiana and I had my own mental health issues that I work and struggle with, and I feel many people do.
Everybody does.
And sometimes in the months in the year leading up to like talking with Colin and like after like this Brendan situation happened where he moved away, like those issues would bleed into my everyday life, especially when it came to music, because I love this. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. This is my ideal world, right? Where I like write
But
music.
some
and-
people don't take it as seriously as you do, and
Yeah.
like that, like you would not like just leave somewhere like because you care about it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I understand, but you're not prepared for that though.
Yeah.
Because you think that everybody's all in just like you are.
And it's not even the
You
importance
hope
of it.
for it.
It's like
yeah, you
it
hope
just-
for it.
it was the fact that we were put on a pause in the moments leading up
Yeah.
to like, what are we doing?
Where it felt like the momentum was just going and
Yes.
going over.
And
We're
then all of
going.
a sudden it's just
Oh,
blocked.
yeah.
Our drummer left. What are we doing? And
Yeah.
so like in the worst in the worst situations, it bled heavily into my personal feelings and my
Yeah.
personal life. And Kiana and I would argue back and forth, and I would just like vent to her like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we still like making this imaginary world where we were playing?
Yeah.
And that's not the reality, because we didn't have a drummer. Brendan moved away, and I love Brendan.
Colin's saving grace.
And then like, but we had no direction.
Yeah, and it's
We
at that
had-
point we had to make the decision like, do we stop or do we find a drummer?
And I laid that ultimatum, and I was like, we either call it good because Brendan moved away and that's it. This
Yeah.
is where Immigrant's Child ends,
Yeah.
or we like have that tough conversation of like, are we moving forward with someone else, so we can like move forward, because I do not deal well hanging in limbo up in between like these hard decisions.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but like we met in October.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I do.
Like, and vibes were off.
Yeah.
I do.
That's what things were
I
so.
thought we had a great rehearsal, and then
It was
things were
because
just like,
Halloween. It was Halloween, bro.
I'm not
It's
sure
Halloween.
about this.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck, what am I doing? Like,
Well, and I remember too. I think you were like finishing up a school block, so you're like after
Yeah.
February, I'm good. And so I
Yeah.
think there was also that.
oh,
time,
I'd already put my time into
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
You're literally like after
Oh my
February,
god,
I'm good.
throwback.
You're making
Yeah.
him realize.
That's why. No, the only reason why is
You're
like.
not alone in feeling that. No, like at
No.
the time, it was just like between the three of us, it was like, what the fuck are we doing? And
I think there was a moment where we had to like. Maybe I don't think we've ever really said it out loud or like verbalized it, but just realizing that Immigrant's Child has less to do with the people in the band and more to do with the art that we make. And I think that for a while we were like, no, it is the people.
Yeah.
And so when Brendan was gone, we're like, we're not Immigrant's Child.
yeah,
And it's like, can we still do this? And then continuing, because same thing, like even when Jessica left,
Like
we're
a
like, are we
voice versus a family
exactly,
kind of thing.
exactly? So it's like when Jessica left, we're like, are we still Immigrant's Child? And like, no, I think so. We're good. Maybe we can still continue. And then Brendan left. We're like, okay, are we still Immigrant's Child? And then having the struggle of like, we've had two people leave, and like, who are we now? And then like, can we still be Immigrant's Child with a new person? And it just took us a minute to be like, yeah, this is about the art, not the members.
No.
but it was some nasty conversations and some nasty moments where I was so frustrated at life for giving me this like thing that I loved and I poured countless hours into, and then have it like be taken away because of circumstances that were out of my control.
Right.
And that's me as an individual.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure to some
I do
extent,
want to hear Josiah's
if not
part.
further, like Josiah and Kiana felt that. But before, what's your
It's
get your hand up? I'm
It's
sorry. You
outlandish.
Schaefer.
It's outlandish. You guys go ahead.
Go ahead.
Josiah,
Let's hear it.
I want
I want to hear what Shaker has
I
to
want to
say.
hear what
This
Lois has to
period
say
of
too.
life.
I'm so tired. What was going on?
Tired, boy.
What happened?
You're a monster
Like,
beast.
I
Let's
don't know what
go.
happened,
my
like, where are
God.
we?
About like what? About this whole part? you gotta specify.
I think he's just talking about like your
Him joining.
Hey.
not him joining,
just
but like the
questions
part
are
where you
monkey,
were
right?
sus about like I don't want another drummer, like that what you were feeling before.
Well,
That's
like
wild.
I just kind of like what I
That's
said
good.
before, where it's just like it was like weird because I feel like we had such a good thing going, and then it was just kind of falling apart, and it's just kind of like we're in this no man's land of like what do we do next, and
Limboed.
yeah, and I wasn't really sure if anybody would be able to like just kind of slot in and be able to pick up where we left off. Like I said, Colin was just like a perfect fit, and it was just like lightning strike again.
He
and
did
it
say
was,
that.
It was very fortunate for us. So I just feel like it was. We got really fortunate and lucky that Colin was able to just kind of fit into our system that we already had and continue that this kind of sound that we had developed over all those years. So
And the way that things were just falling in place.
Before you say your part, music is hard. Art is hard, and art with other people
It's harder.
is harder because you're sharing a vulnerable part of yourself with them. Cherish it if you have it, and keep pushing as best you can, and be open to new experiences. That's all I gotta say on that. Anyways,
music
So you guys wanna share?
instructors deserve to get paid way more than they do.
yeah.
And writers.
We made less than a fourth of what the lessons cost. We made less than a fourth of what the lessons cost. It was not a living wage.
We
Like,
need to start
they-
making commission.
So I got a
Or fist
5-year-old, right? And I want to put
fist
him in
commish.
some. I got a 5-year-old, and I want to put him in
Still
some.
a rock.
You own a 5-year-old?
I own a 5-year-old.
You own.
Hey!
own
He did it right. He has the papers, right? He owns one.
He's from Mexico. He
Just a
no, they wouldn't give me a
It's
Mexican.
important.
They wouldn't
Oh my
give me a
God.
Mexican.
They wouldn't give me
Anyways,
those Mexicans are in
5-year-old.
cages. They wouldn't give me one of those.
Hey,
God.
They
Whoa,
more likely give me a Chinese. I'm more likely to get a
5-year-old.
Chinese kid, right?
You have a 5-year-old that.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
So I have a 5-year-old son that I've been trying to put in music classes, but it just doesn't work out. Like they just don't hit me back up, or something happens like that. So what would you guys say to push towards that?
That's like the unfortunate thing is that
It's like
the-
piano classes. I'm trying to fucking get into piano classes.
It
They're
depends
so
on
hard.
Piano class.
Everybody does piano. Yeah, like there's so many you can find, and I think the unfortunate thing is that like the bigger like
You try the
schools-
triangle
Well, the bigger like
practices. You
the
know what I mean?
bigger
The triangle?
Fuck the triangle lessons.
the companies that have like a bigger organization where they offer like we do all of these lessons, unfortunately, is going to be more consistent,
More
but it's-
exploitative.
Yeah, but it's more exploitative. So
Right.
it's like
I had a
the
question first.
give or take.
I'm gonna talk
My
about
hand was
shit.
up first.
Let Mario talk. He's the
My hand was up.
Mario's the guest.
Alright, go ahead, Mario.
I recognize what you said, and I'm gonna call bullshit on it.
Ooh.
Get him the toy instruments. Leave them with him. Pay attention to what they listen to. Play it
They
consistently.
listen to the Island Boys.
Even if
The
it's the
Island
other boys.
Boys.
If you want to push like music on a child or on like anyone that's new to it, encourage what they're listening to. Encourage them to like explore that and then push past that, right? Like if they push past it, that's on them. They are their own person. They're a kid, right? They're an actual human being.
That's very true.
Just throw instruments at them, whether like cheap ones because they're a child.
Cheap bullshit.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna throw an
Yeah.
instrument.
My
child.
Encourage what they're listening to
I don't have
And
the
then
money for
let them
that.
grow.
If I injure them,
because my dad, bless my dad, I like when I was growing up, I wanted to play guitar. They got my little brother a like cheap guitar because just to get him a cheap guitar. But I was the one that ended up playing with it the most. And then with music, they would like just let me buy music like the CDs off of catalogs. Y'all remember those catalogs? that you
Yeah,
would be able to
boy.
get like sign up for $9.99. You would get like the top 10 CDs of the year or whatever, like every month or whatever the hell it was.
it was called Now.
No.
No,
2000.
not now. You would get it was a subscription. You would get the actual
I'm just not
album.
gonna do that.
No,
I know,
16.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I'm just not
but
gonna do
my dad was very hands off, where he was like,
But it was the Mexican version, like
no, it was just like I grew up listening to like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, the Eagles, Metallica,
Bizkit.
Nirvana.
The
Like
Backstreet Boys.
my dad just
Ooh, I love
through
the Backstreet
all
Boys.
that music subscription
NSYNC.
service, he would just throw it out there, and he would like let me listen to it. And whether it was because he was just not paying attention to it, or because it was intentional, it made me love music so much more.
My mom said
Yeah,
that.
because I got to listen to everything that I like could have possibly listened to.
My mom said
Yeah.
that.
That's
Linkin
you though,
Park
right? Like,
version-
Yeah,
like
just
you're
know,
you're the
just
type
know
of person
stuff.
that like
anybody that doesn't see
you listen to a lot of
She
music
said that,
and like it hits you, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you feel that. But,
Yeah.
like, if it doesn't, like if that would have been me, I might not necessarily like.
But like,
Yeah.
I guess what Mario's
Yeah.
coming
But you
Yeah.
give a chance to
That's-
fill your interest.
Yes, but you're giving that liberty
yeah,
to
introduce.
listen to what you want.
Right.
My dad didn't put restrictions on that. Even when I would like blast Eminem, like the Eminem show,
Ooh, I was just
and like when I was younger, and my mom would like be so upset. My dad would be upset too. Like, why why are they cursing in English all the time, blah, 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 but they wouldn't change it.
Okay, if
That's
I can sum,
legit. Eminem shows.
like,
Let Colin
if
talk!
I can sum up
Calvin!
what you're saying,
So-
in,
Jesus
one
Christ!
sentence, is like introduce the possibility of like
Side number
oversaturation
2 over here.
to your child.
Yeah.
Like just like don't force anything upon them, but like overexpose so much culture and so much shit to your kids so they can discover their own voice to what is possible.
Exactly, because if they love it enough, they'll like. I mean, lessons are helpful and they're nice, but like with anything, if your child wants to play piano and you give them a piano, and if they really want to, they'll learn piano. It's like anything. Look, if you give your child the sketchbook because they asked for one, and then you start drawing, like they'll learn to draw because they want to.
Yeah.
So I feel like lessons, while they can be helpful and maybe like unless you're going like I want to go to college for this, so I need to know the theory. Like it's not necessary.
Wait till you have a kid. It all gets thrown out after that. You're just like,
all different.
whatever keeps it quiet for a little bit,
Sure.
then they get to have it.
Yeah.
Her guy's little
But-
piano. I'm like, isn't this shit you up? Play with this shit.
Yeah.
But no, genuinely, I think that's like the same thing where it's like if a kid loves sports and like you give them a soccer ball and they're like, I will play with this every day and I will practice because I want to. Because
Right.
kids are like that.
No,
To
they're
be
not.
fair, that's
The
not their
passion.
train
Kids
of
don't work
thought.
that way.
That,
To
no,
be
that's
fair,
not the
that's
train
not their train of thought. They're just thinking fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, right? Like a kid's train of thought is pretty simple.
Calvin's
Like,
good at that, making stuff fun.
but all we're saying is like
This-
just provide the opportunity, the possibility that
And then
they
let
can do
Them
it
fall into
themselves
it, yeah.
without you having to be there. That's
Yeah.
it. Whatever results happen after that.
You guys say that it's easy?
no.
You have no idea how hard it is.
Oh, it's not
It's
easy.
not easy.
No, we're not saying it's easy.
That's the hardest part is doing it without you being there. That's the hardest part for the kid.
Yeah.
Nowadays, because your kids around you. How many people work from home?
I do. 24/7.
Imagine having a
like,
kid. So what are they gonna be used to?
What you do.
No, what are they gonna be used to? Like
One of the coolest things
there.
about- one of the coolest things-
having a parent there at least, you know what I mean, all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once you put them out in sports, and then you're not gonna be there, that's the hardest thing.
One of the coolest
Even
things
Easton struggled with that. But
Yeah.
I had to like step away, like the coach is a coach, I'm not gonna step in anymore.
Yeah, but
One of the
coach-
coolest
but
things-
Notice what you said. You had to step away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so often we look at kids as mirror images of their parents or
Oh yeah,
families.
we try to make them better of ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
At what point did your family step away from you and say you got to figure it out?
Honestly, I think kids are the better version of us. You know,
Yeah.
kids cooperate. They love each other. They share. They do all, like if someone's injured, they'll bring them something. You know, if someone's like if they need a snack, they'll bring them over something. Whereas humans, if you see someone fucking starving on the side of the street, you're not gonna give them nothing.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
overall discussion wasn't so much as like whether or not it's easy. It's more of the like, what can I do? Like not it's
Just the
it's
thought,
hard.
yeah.
It's hard no matter what. But a good step, like a step in that, is like you don't really need to do lessons. Like
That's what.
I think
what-
it's just like them having blocks in the room. It's like
So-
you give them a couple musical instruments, just something else to play with.
yeah.
So I'll give you all a bit of context as to why I believe that. I work with high schoolers I work with both elementary age students in the 2nd grade, and then I went to go work with high school students within the span of 2 years. What I found was common in both groups: leave them to their own devices, provide what you can,
Provide a resource.
let them explore it as themselves. Like, don't force it.
Yeah, it's
the
like
more,
let them find a
the more-
hobby.
Yes, the more you helicopter, the more you
Yeah.
like try to say like, do it. This is it. Do it. Do it. Do
Yeah.
it. They're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
The less they love it,
just
right?
just put it out there. Like, okay, here's what you can do. Have fun. I'm gonna be over here making sure you're not hurting yourself. That's it.
That's how it was for Easton's first game. I was very upset because I expected more. I even told Mal like you're gonna expect so much, but I was probably the most let down because I thought like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel let down as a dad. Like I didn't do enough to where he didn't knows how to throw a ball, hit the ball. You know what I mean? Knows where to stand and be
Now
there. But like
imagine
that's
that feeling is gonna be compounded over the span of 10 years when he gets to high school. You're gonna. I don't.
that's what I was saying. But I stepped away.
Yeah.
The first game I was upset.
Yeah.
Second game I was like,
Dude,
coach
my,
is gonna coach.
That's
my
already
thing, my
growth.
thing with sports and probably music too, right? Is like parents get upset with their kids because they aren't what they they expect them to be. They want their kid to be great at this. It's like give them 3 years. Let them just be okay at it for 2, 3,
Easton
4,
grew
5
in-
years, and then those years go over, and then they're gonna be fucking so much further ahead of the competition than they would have been if they would have.
Yes,
They would
Calvin.
have
Easton
started
grew.
later on or quit.
How many in 3 games?
Yeah.
Easton grew tremendously, and I just had
He
to
went
step
from
away.
chopping to swinging.
Dude, he hits the ball very.
Yeah.
He does really good, but it took me stepping away, and Mal just let the coach.
But it's good for him though, right?
Yeah.
Let him grow. Like he gets in there by himself, and he's
Yeah.
with the coach, and like he has to learn on him for
He has to
himself.
learn and listen from somebody else other
Kids
than us.
understand a lot more than we give them credit for.
Oh, yeah,
So,
oh, yeah.
And that's one of the things that like I had to understand working with youth.
Yeah.
Let kids be kids and figure their shit out. The moment that you see a spark of passion, you fucking fan that
Yeah,
flame
yeah.
as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just say like, you're interested in that. If you're legit interested, I want to help you push that and make you better at it.
Yeah.
And if they, at a certain point they're like, maybe not. Okay, cool, whatever.
You just fan the flame, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think there's like a sweet unspoken like teamwork within that where you're like, I as a parent can't be there to do that, but like there's another adult that's like, don't worry, I've got this. Like I'm gonna help you with that. And that's like
And it's okay.
unspoken. Yeah, and it's okay. And
It's
it's
okay.
like you're like, I'm here.
It's not
that's
you
my job. My job is
or-
to do that
yeah.
for you.
And I'm not gonna sit here and like delve into personal traumas, but like
No.
I feel that is the way to like get the best version of our future is like, because not everyone's gonna be an artist, not everyone's gonna be an engineer, not everyone's gonna be a scientist. You just fan the flames where you see it.
And I remember even like dealing with that with, like, as an instructor, a vocal instructor. I remember they're like, every student has their own struggle, but I remember having a student where like they stopped vocal lessons for a while and they were just going through their own thing. And I remember talking to one of their parents, and their parents like, I don't know what to do. And then they just gave their child time, and that child ended up starting lessons again. And it's like they're gonna find their way, and then like the unfortunate things that you have to let go. But I was also like being on the other end of like, I like that I can provide a service for you. Like I am here to be like an adult in their life when you don't have when you gotta go do your shit, and that's okay. But like I'm here and I want to teach them something, and if it's something that you can't teach them, like that's my job. Like I want to do that. Like I'm here to help with that. This is our teamwork. Like obviously you're their full-time parent, they're your child, but like if I can help them in some way, like this is how I'm helping.
But I think
Like you're here to.
I think kids learn better too
Yeah.
when it's not their parent either.
Yeah.
When it's somebody else, they listen more. You know what I mean? When it's like
Yeah.
somebody else, they like, I gotta listen. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, it's a
my
different-
mom and dad are not here, so I have
No,
to
my
listen.
son, dude. He starts fucking. He'll be. If I'm not coaching, he starts doing cartwheels and shit on the field. I'm like, hey, focus. I'm like the parent on the fucking sidelines on the
I
field,
yell,
like, hey,
oh my God.
pay attention,
But I
little
think you'd be
fucker.
surprised at how much
A
that
diaphragm
changes
though,
over
that don't
time.
you can yell from a distance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was so loud the first soccer game that the second game the coach was like, hey, would you like to help me coach? I was like,
I guess, yeah,
All right,
man.
yeah, Les.
say Les, dog. I'm here.
But Calvin loves that. you
I
know?
do though.
He loves
Yeah,
it.
I love that shit.
And that's another thing where I'm
I would
sure
love it too, but like
The
Easton
thing-
doesn't learn from me. He doesn't. It's this is how it is. You know what I mean? There's no big deal. Like someone else gonna teach him something.
I'm a
okay.
call.
Who taught
It's
you?
just- it's
Who
not-
taught you algebra?
it's not- he doesn't-
Algebra. Who
yeah,
taught
yeah,
you?
call
Who
it-
taught you
yeah, yeah,
algebra?
yeah.
Who taught you?
I'm gonna call BS on that. It's not that he doesn't learn from you. It's
I don't know how to
He
talk
doesn't-
to him.
no, it's specific to the situation. I guarantee you, Easton looks at you every day and takes
Oh, yeah.
something
and
from
learns from you.
You
But maybe
can't
this
you can't make him like what you like. You gotta
Yeah.
like what he likes.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about kids. Like I can't be like as much as I love to like, hey, I'm doing this, watch me. As soon as he starts doing something that's like into himself, then you gotta be like, okay, let's go focus
Calvin-
on yourself. And
Yeah, like, I
Calvin's
teach him
son,
What you like.
Carter, he's
he's a character.
opposite of Calvin.
Yeah.
He likes trucks, loud noises.
Have
He
you guys
likes
heard about
what I
like? Have you guys heard about like a lot of Republicans pushing like straight bills and things like that? Like no gay stuff in school, right?
Yeah.
My son goes to school and he's like, Dad, like why you? I don't like pink no more. Like what the hell? Like he learns all his gay stuff at home, and then he goes to school and he's like, Dad, this is what boys don't
Yo,
boys
what
don't
kind
like
of
pink.
school is he going
Yeah, I
to?
know.
Yeah,
What
he-
is this school?
We go to Patagonia. I'm like, you can like it's a pink hat. You can rock it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, pink's for girls, Dad. I'm like,
Who
pink's
taught
not
you
for
that?
girls. I got pink on right now. What are you talking about? But he's like, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
cool.
But
It's
I
cool.
mean, I think in the same sweet sense, like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
It's
He's like a man's man.
It's just-
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
Carter's like a man's
he
man.
likes working hard and shit like that. I'm more of a napper.
He wanted to cut. He wanted to cut.
Okay, so this thing we have a Suzuki, and I do a lot of
Bike?
like I don't do like
No, Suzuki like the
full-grown
SUV.
Suzuki. It's SUV. It's
It's
so
old. It's
like
nice.
I built the fence around my house. Me and Chris I picked up pickets in that fucking SUV for the most part. It's
Yeah,
a
the
little mini SUV. I picked up pickets and all this shit. I need to
I was
start
like,
in it.
Chris, I need help. I was
That's like my
"Yeah,
work
I
truck,
got you."
basically, right? So my son's like, he's just like, he told me I should chop off the back of the Suzuki, cut it off. He's like, you should just cut it like where the seats are, and then like to the back, and that could be our truck, Dad. That could be our truck. And that's literally, Chris had told me that like 2 weeks before. The exact same thing. He's like,
No,
he's
I know.
like, you might as well cut. You might.
place.
He's like, you might as well chop the Suzuki because you always use it as a truck anyway. And then my son tells me the exact same thing 2 weeks later. He's 5 years old. He was fucking 3 or 4 back then.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But he's just so much like a manly man. Like he's just
Yeah.
a hard worker. Like he just wants to drill shit and fucking
He
carry
wants to-
things. Chris, we were building my fence and Chris was carrying like the concrete on his shoulder or the pickets. Chris would carry like 5 or 6 pickets on one shoulder, and I'd have like a couple or one on each arm, and my son would have one on one arm, just like walking up with like one
Aw.
one
He
little
loves that.
picket, just like
That's
rocking up.
very
So
sweet.
he's a champ, but
That
he's,
is very sweet.
Adorable as hell.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a Republican for sure. But I'm working hard on it. You know, I'm
Like
working hard on the.
We're learning. We're deep.
By then, Republicans will be more center. But
Like,
Yeah.
I doubt it, dude. We're just getting righter and righter. The whole fucking country.
hey,
And
you guys
even
don't know
left right,
geopolitics.
man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no geopolitics.
Don't get me
Geopolitics.
started, man.
No
Sorry.
cryptocurrency.
Basically a socialist. God
Hey,
damn
just
it.
make
we
him
can talk about it.
just make him listen to Tyler Childers. Just
There you go.
All right,
On that same note,
let's
like,
close it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
You
guys
guys
wanna
Close it out.
We gotta
Close
go.
it out.
Good.
Close it
close
out.
out, close out.
we're good.
Close it out.
I'll take another halftime out too.
Another one?
No.
It's
I have no
almost
more
midnight
Cokes.
and I gotta pee. Oh my god.
All
All
right.
right. 2 guys on Shad. If you guys been here this long, you know it's been a great podcast. You know,
Oh, yeah.
We've
Oh, yeah.
covered damn near every topic you can think of. You know what I mean?
Except
With
geopolitics.
all the ADHD rolling around here. You know what I mean? Rolling around. You know what I mean? Rolling around.
I'm hurted.
Episode 45 in the books.
You guys know Shad?
Immigrant child. Let's go. Phew. Immigrants.
Thanks,
Immigrants.
guys.
Sorry,
You guys
sorry,
coming
sorry.
through.
There is
Thanks
more
so
than
much.
one.
I had a bit of blast.
had a good time.
I was listening too.
I went down
listen.
several drinks.
You guys have fun though?
It was
Yeah.
amazing. I had a great time.
Best podcast yet.
Oh, kiss me and cry.